Ooh. Ooh, joy, 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 joy come down. Born in Bethlehem, ooh, hallelujah. Joy, 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 joy. A bright star rise over Bethlehem town. Good news spread and the angels come down. Shepherds run with a shout and a praise, saying glory to the King, let his name be raised. Glory, hallelujah. Lift his name. Light in the darkness, hope for the nation. Light shine, oh yes it shines. Hope rise again. Joy come down, joy come down. Jesus Christ is born. Joy come down, joy come down. Praise ring out, early Christmas morn. Praise him, praise him, praise him. Dance and sing, dance and sing. Lift your voice again. We will sing hallelujah. For the Savior of the world was born in Bethlehem. Born in Bethlehem. Joy come down. Oh, from Nazareth straight to Galilee shore. Hear the people chant, we want Jesus more. Wise men bringing gold and precious spice, bowing down low to the Holy Christ. Oh, we praise your name. Oh, Messiah reign. Oh, he's Emmanuel, God with us. He's the Prince of Peace, victorious. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, Prince of Peace, victorious. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Lift up your head, up your song. Praise the King who reigns forever strong. Hey, 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 hey. Born, he was born in Bethlehem. Bethlehem he came. Born, he was born to save all men. Save us,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, boys and girls. You are watching the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. Oh, this is the national flag of Barbados. I think you should know it by now, but I know that you have some people who are watching for the first time from another country. And you just heard the national anthem of Barbados. Isn't it beautiful? Very, very beautiful. And we are not tired of playing this anthem. We have been playing the anthem for every evening for probably almost 2 years now. We've been playing the anthem and we do not get tired of it. We do not get tired of it. We are in love with our country, Barbados. We don't need anybody to tell us to fall in love with Barbados again. And that is why tonight, we are going to be talking about the $7.3 billion. $7.3 billion. How will we repay this? What is the legacy we are leaving for our children and our children's children? Who is going to repay this? Yes, we're going to talk about that. And then we are also going to be looking at Animal Farm. In fact, that's what we're doing first. So I'm going to ask you, it's going to be quite exciting. I'm asking you to like and to share. Please let people know that we're on and it's exciting. I love the fact that we're learning new things. I'm excited and I'm hoping that you read chapter 1 because we are officially starting our book study. Okay, we're starting our book study tonight on Animal Farm by George Orwell. And so we're taking you back to school. And listen, you see on the we also have our somebody created this. I woke up this morning and someone sent me this. I can't say the name. They didn't tell me to say the name, and I sent it to Michelle to put the, make sure we had the correct wording, everything on it. And this is our revised. This is the revised loyal opposition. This is our emblem. All right. This is our logo. Our logo. You're gonna see this all over the place. The loyal opposition. All for one and one for all. Barbados pressure group. It's Mr. Murray that called us a pressure group, and we accepted that. We are not a political party. We are a pressure group, and you guys gave the name, the loyal opposition, coming from ye loyal sons and daughters. That's where the loyal opposition came from. Yeah, who remember that? Anybody out there remember that? Where the loyal opposition came from? It came from the song. The song, the anthem. What am I saying? It came from the anthem, and we have owned that. We've owned that. People are loving it. Oh, wow. People are loving it. That is a lovely, lovely. I'm glad you all love it. You all love it. You all love it. You all love it. Let me go and greet my wonderful Bajan people. Listen, it is a joy. It is a joy. It is a joy. I tell you, you know what? I went somewhere today and somebody said to me, Marcia, how is it living in Barbados? And I said to them, you know what? It has gotten much better. Every year it gets better. When I first came, it was a little tough. You know how it gets. They call me foreigner and all that. But I think once we get to know each other, Barbadians, once they get to know you and they we get to know each other, very, very kind people. And that's what I told the person today. Very kind people. And and I'm glad every year it gets better. I have to say, I have a true Bajan family here. Hi, Tironi. Hi, Judy. Judy is usually the first one on. Judy, we love you, Judy. Love you, girl. Tironi, Malachi, Josh. We feel we're connected. We're connected, Emoy. M Hoyt. Vernon, Cedric, how are you? Carol, how are you? Monica, I hope you guys have a great Christmas, a great holiday. New Year's. Bajan, Mavis, Lashley, I'm praying all is going well for you, Flo Joe. Matthew B, you were so instrumental this year, Matthew B. Take a bow. You've done a lot. Colorts, Patricia Garner, Green. And when we say Matthew B, you don't see Matthew B on here. I'm commending him on what he's been doing on it with his own WhatsApp, and because we embrace all opposition. Okay, it doesn't have to be coming from this show. We want to honor and thank God for all opposition voices. Patricia Green, Iretha, Colert, how you doing, Colert? Yes, wait, what's going on here? Colorts, your name isn't coming up. Colorts, I want you to see your name up there. Diana Husbands, Margaret Pollard, Andrea Critchlow, how are you? Jackie! Oh my goodness. I have not forgotten you, Jackie. Jack Murphy, Beverly Prescott, Marva Hunt, Monica Inns. I'm a big girl. I'm a big girl too. Best anthem in the world, she said. Oh my goodness, some of these names I am okay, I'm a big girl. Okay, I'm saying names again. Hey Josh. Hey Josh. Yes, you like the emblem? Oh, yes. Those of you who like the emblem, you like this emblem, put your thumbs up. And this is what they don't understand, Marva, is that, you know what? Even though, they're claiming that they're going to deport me, which is impossible. But, but Pauline Holder, you need to give me a call, Pauline. Check your WhatsApp and you need to give me a call. But look at this logo. They think that I am the one doing these things, They don't realize this is the loyal opposition. It's all about. I told you I never asked anybody to do this. I just got up and saw it because it's not about me. When are we going to get that? The topics that we're dealing with tonight didn't come from me. Former senator sent them to me. And so, come on, folks. Tell them to relax. When you fight against this show, you're fighting against Barbados. Right, loyal opposition? Nice. Everybody lovely. They're loving it. They're loving it. And to those people who, yes, it's lovely. And I love the colors. You like the colors in it? We love the trident is there. It looks like the flag. We own this. We own this, guys. We own this. Yes, we own the colors, we own the emblems, all for one and one for all is what he's saying. And somebody was just motivated to do this. And it just, thanks to Michelle, we had some of the words are off, and Michelle took it and put it all together, completed it. And I just, on behalf of the loyal opposition to this particular person who did it, who I don't even see this person commenting, but obviously they're watching the show. Thank you very, very much. And we shall be using this. Yeah, this is lovely. People saying it looks good. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Don't focus on the messenger, eat the messages. It looked official because we are the people of Barbados. When they say, oh, that Jamaican woman, let them know, no, this is about Barbados people. Remember, I told you the laptop, the what my whole system here is from the people of Barbados because they want us to do this. So you need to correct them when they come with this nonsense. Yes, we got to get some of these on the logo. We want to get some some bands, guys. Anybody know how we can get them for a good price? Message me now. We want to get some of these to wear. We want to put this on some wristband. Yes? We started to look at some prices of the wristbands because we want to go into the communities, etc. Okay? This is about Barbados. This is a Barbados movement. This pressure group It's really, you notice even the panelists change because nobody really owns this, and nobody's being paid from it. That's the beauty of what's going on here. And it's just wonderful. Nobody is yes, yes. And you know what, Josh, what I want you to do, and others, stop saying it's a Jamaican woman, because listen, I didn't make this logo, right? I'm not the only one on here. It's all of us. We're doing it together, and we have to really reach that point where we recognize that we are doing it together. All right? And not think that one person is higher than the next. It is all of us, and we play different parts, right? Look good to the bone. This is Bajan to the bone. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I thank you. Other thing I want to thank you for, sometimes as soon as I get up and I have my prayer, I look at my phone, I see people send me prayers that they're praying for me. Means the world to me. Somebody might send me a scripture, means the world to me. Thank you for doing that. Thank you. It's very encouraging, and it makes me want to keep going. And so I thank you for your prayers. I really, 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 really do. And that means more than anything else in the world. I love you too, Monica. They can't separate us. tell them tell them I ain't going nowhere. you tell them you tell them, listen, this is not happening. This is not happening. You tell them to find something else to say. Find something else to say, because I ain't going nowhere. I sorry for them. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah. I think they know that. They know that, and they need to back off. They need to tell the national executive of the Barbados Labour Party, we know what you're doing, and you need to back off. Because I am telling you, it's not going to end well for you. All right, so stop. We are very much aware of what you're doing. Just stop it. Yeah, stop it. For one, they're gonna pray for. Don't let them pray for you. Don't let Dolores start to call your name before the Lord. Eh? Don't let her start. Oh my Lord. Huh? Don't let her start. Uh-uh. Yes. Yes. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that built it. Yes. And this logo, it's yours, came from you. I didn't design it. I didn't even come up with the name, the Loyal Opposition. I didn't name it the Pressure Group. Not me. So tell them they will have to deport all of us from Barbados. Tell them they will have to deport everybody because I didn't do it. It's not me. It wasn't me, like Shaggy. It wasn't me. All righty. Wonderful. Well, we are excited, folks. But let me put my disclaimer up here first, because I know you will have some troublemakers want to come here. Let me try to get this timer off this thing. I don't know how would I get this timer on this thing here. Give me a moment. Let me do this while you share. So how many of you did the read the chapter 1 of Animal Farm? Oh Lordy, now let me see. How many of you? How many of you? Let me see. Okay, so I'm trying to get this thing off. I don't know why it comes on. StreamYard is trying all kinds of new things here. Yeah. Okay, Jack Murphy read, and Carol read. Andrea read. Somebody said they were listening. That's a good idea to listen to some of it on a video. Marcia Miller, Jacqueline read, Diana read. Somebody said they have never read it. Okay. Well, we're going to do, if Dave could put it up on the screen, and while he's doing that, there's a timer that is coming up, and I don't know why it started doing that, but I wanted, I don't really want it on it because I really want it to stay up. I want it to stay up. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Okay. And I really want it to stay up because, okay, this disclaimer, the disclaimer that is there says the discussion uses animal farm as an allegory. We are not calling any real person or official an animal, because some of you, all of a sudden, you forget about literature and metaphors and similes and all literary devices. This is an allegory. Okay, I am not calling any real person or official an animal. I've never done that. And because it happens to be that there, you see Animal Farm, there's a pig there. I know what you are going to propaganda that is going to already get started. And that's not the point here. I didn't write this. I didn't write this book. All right, so I want that to be very clear. The discussion uses Animal Farm as an allegory, but we are not calling any real person or official an animal. All right, very, very important, because some people acting like they went to Sunday school all of a sudden, right? All right, somebody read it years ago. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Somebody said that there are two books that mankind can live on, the Bible and Animal Farm. I studied that book at school. Yes, the offense is not given. So, and you all need to make sure that you correct them on social media, all right? Because I know they don't, because they don't want us to get into the meat of the book, then they're going to come with a distraction. Okay, everybody understand that? They're going to come with a distraction because they do not want us to get to the meat of the book. Follow me? Right. And those of you who know, I know I'm not going to tell it. I honestly, is when after I started to read the book again, I'm like, oh Lord, this, the pigs play a central role in the book. I didn't choose it for any other reason but because of the message of the book. All right. And that's just it. And once you know, we know what it is, then that it is. Yes, Cami, yes. Yes. All right. Now, for those of you who did not get a chance to read the book, while Dave keeps it up there, right? I am going to do a little I'm gonna give you a version of the book, all right, with a little Bajan. So get ready to laugh, because you know my Bajan is horrible. A little Bajan, right? And of course enough Jamaican. Let's be real, okay? So Animal Farm, which is now adapted, right? This is a Jamaican Bajan dialect dramatic script about now to, be produced or released, broadcasted, all right? Okay, the characters are, you remember Old Major? Old Major is a grandfatherly, wise, powerful voice. Boxer, gentle, giant, deep. Clover is warm and motherly. Benjamin, Muriel, Molly. Then we have the cats, the dogs, pigeons, and rats. Okay. Now, I want you, if you know who Old Major is, which animal Old Major is, who is Old Major, write it down. Who is Boxer, write it down. Who is Clover in the story of Animal Farm, write it down. Who is Benjamin? Who is Benjamin? Who is Muriel? Who is Molly? Okay. Now, I want you to imagine it's a night on Manor Farm, right? You have the crickets, cricket, 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 cricket. The soft wind, the animals are settling, the creak of a barn door, probably, the wind, the soft wind is, blowing, and the barn door is creaking a little bit, right? Now, nightfall come down from Manor Farm, quiet, quiet, but something in the air feel different, like the animals know something about to happen. Soon as Farmer Jones closed down the lights and gone inside within drunken self, the word start to spread. All animals gather in the big barn. Old Major want to talk. You hear the hooves, the trotting, hooves trotting, winds fluttering, murmurs of animals gathering. Right, moo. They say different animal sound. The dogs. I can't bark like a dog, but you know what I mean. Inside the barn, the place packed. Horses, sheep, goats, pigs, hens, even the rats scamper in, keeping little distance cause them know how some animals feel about them. Boxer and Clover, two big gentle horses, lie down real careful so them ain't squash nobody. Benjamin the donkey stand up looking miserable as usual, like nothing impress he no more. Muriel the goat adjusts she glasses. Molly the pretty little horse come in late with ribbons still tied in she mane. Then the great pig, all Major, climb up on a little platform. Oh Lord. He caught gray now with age, but he still got a mighty presence. Heard a feedback, so I just stopped to try to adjust it. The animals quiet down. So old Major now is standing up on a little platform. He's a big pig, but on this little platform. Comrades, said old Major, booming. He's wise, Thank you all for coming. I ain't gonna lie. I know I ain't got long left on this earth. So before I gone, I want to tell one of the truth about our lives. All the animals lean in, cause when old Major talk, everybody listen. Take a good look at we condition, said old Major. We born, we work hard from morning till night. We get barely enough food to keep we alive. And then when we're too old or we're too weak, Jones kill we off without a second thought. You hear murmurs of agreement. You're right, so true. Hearing a noise, so let me just stop. Yeah, there's a noise coming through. Old Major, comrades, the problem ain't land or the weather. The real problem is man. Man is the only creature that only produce nothing but take everything. He milk the cows. He take the eggs from the hens. He work the horses to bones. But what he get back? Nothing. Only lashes, hunger, and misery. Boxer, in a deep, slow voice, Major, I work hard every day, but it's true. I ain't never feel free yet. Clover, soft, emotional. Every year I bring calves for Jones. Every year I bring calves for Jones, and he just sell them just so. It just break my heart. Benjamin, quite dry. Long as I know myself, Life he always been hard, but Major talking sense. Old Major continues. Comrades, listen good. A day gonna come when man will fall, when we, the animals, will rise up and claim back this farm and all the fruits of our labor. We must work together as one body. No animal must ever rule over another. No animal must live in luxury while others starve. No animal must act like man. A great excitement rippled through the crowd. But right then, the dog started barking. Guess what the dogs were doing? The dog started chasing the rats who were trying to slip out. Rats. The rats start to shout out, wait, we's animals too, you know. So Major put it to a vote. Major decided to vote on the rats. Old Major said, comrades, should rats be part of a movement, or wouldn't want to see them as enemies? Animals started to vote. Some said, yeah, aye, nah, man, yes, man. Some said, then does Steve too much. But in the end, the majority decided rats is comrades too. Old Major says, before I done, let me give one of 6 principles for the rebellion. Old Major said, no animal must ever live in a house. That's number 1. No animal must ever live in a house. No animal must sleep in a bed. No animal must wear clothes. No animal must drink alcohol. No animal must kill another animal. Let me hear you out there in the comment section. Huh? We all agree? All the animals out there? let's hear all the animals. And above all animals is equal. Above all animals is equal. Let me hear you say it in the comment section. Let me hear the animals. The barn falls silent as the words sink in. Then Major said, no, let me teach one a song from deep inside my memory. A song of freedom. Beast of England. So he started up a song, the animals humming softly, then stronger. Beast of England, beast of the sun, rise up now, the time has come. No more chains or man command, freedom rising in the land. Beast of England, beast of the sun, rise up now, the time has come. No more chains or man command, freedom rising in the land. The whole barn does shake with the animal voices. Even the walls vibrate. Hope, real hope, rise up in them chests. But guess what? The noise wake up Farmer Jones. Jones tumbling. Gunshot. Man, let go a gunshot in the night. The animals start to scream and scatter. But nobody frightened along. Not after what them hear tonight. The dream of the freedom now plant deep in the heart. And that is how the revolution starts. Now, that was for all of you who did not get a chance to read the book. All right. And I hope that yes, people are saying they love this book. Yes. Does it bring back any memories? Any memories for anybody? Any memories for those of you who did it in school? I see Mr. Ah, thank you. Mr. Bob is in. Mr. Bob, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to come in.
Yes.
Mr. Bob, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. I ran home because I wanted to get this first segment in. I'm not sure how long I can stay on for tonight, but I know I wanted to get this. And before, let me say good night to all the loyal opposition and those persons following, whether you're opposition or not, but you're curious of what's happening here. So let me say good night to all of them. And this first chapter had many lessons for us. I enjoy reading the first chapter.
Yeah, so you had a chance to read it tonight.
Yeah, I read it the same day you put it out.
That okay, so you read it.
Yes.
Yes,
So it
yes,
was,
yes, yes. You know, I mean, there are lots of parallels, modern parallels, in the story, and we're just going to mention three of them, I
Mhm.
think, and then what we are going to do is we're going to then go into it a little bit,
Yes.
to look at the different characters, right?
Yes.
So three of the parallels. One is the rising inequality,
Yes.
right? The rising inequality is one of the parallels with the Barbadian parallels.
Yes.
Leaders who say one thing and do
I do
another,
it. Yes.
right? Now, unless they've read the book, if it's their first time, you would not know what is going to come. But don't forget Old Major's speech
Yes.
and the six principles that he has outlined for the animals to live by, right?
Mhm.
Right, Mr. Bab?
Yes. Yes.
The third parallel is a population tired, overworked, and underpaid.
Yes.
You
Mhm.
agree?
Yes. Very much so.
And so the big question for the audience tonight before we move on is this: do you think Barbados resembles what Orwell warned about? If yes or no, let's see it in the comment section. Do you think Barbados today resembles what Orwell, the writer, warned about? When you heard the story tonight, did you see any parts of Barbados in this story? Behoy say heck yes.
Yes. Of course.
Yes, yes. People are saying yes. People saying yes. Well, let's go in. Let's go in a little bit more.
Mhm.
Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob, what is there anything in particular why you would say yes?
Yes, because the first chapter
Mm-hmm.
introduced us to the theme. The book itself introduces themes to power, corruption, and the dangers of unchecked idealism. We have a situation in Barbados where you can't say anything about the prime minister. She can
Mm-hmm.
be critical, she can be loud, she can attack, but the minute that you attack, then she has her minions out there who come after you. And one thing I pick up is of the importance of critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Major was able to sway in his speech the animals because of the particular situation that existed at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And his speech resembles that of charismatic leaders, how they can influence and play on your situation, which happened in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
It did not. It was not lost on me that Major was a white pig.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm.
I
Okay.
remember on the back of a truck in 2018, we had some person dressed in white delivering some telling us taking looking after or having freedom of speech, looking at corruption.
So you're saying
Mr.
major speech sounded like one of our leaders giving a speech
Yes,
to, because they took advantage of a
advantage
situation.
a situation that existed now,
Yes.
and it's
Now,
the did. Go ahead,
no, no,
go
no.
ahead, you go ahead.
My apologies. Go right ahead.
No, and Mr. Jones and Mr. Jones can be compared to what the leaders were at that time. and people felt the animals, people
Mm-hmm.
felt neglected and exploited.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in essence, I mean, if we're looking at just the first chapter of the book,
Yes,
we would say that Mr. Jones, Mr. The animals were suffering under Mr. Jones. Can we
They
say
felt-
that? Can we
yes,
establish that?
yes, yes,
Right? The animals felt hunger. They felt overworked. They felt hopeless.
right,
Agree?
yes,
Right? The leaders were of the whole farm, it was always the pigs. The pigs, they always, I guess, I don't know, probably their size, they were always seemed to be, because old major, everybody respected old major, could be because of age.
yes, yes, could be, yes,
Hmm. And also old major gave this powerful speech and planted the seeds of revolution, and
yes,
the seeds of the revolution got planted because the animals felt they were suffering under man, right, under
yes,
Mr. Jones. Okay,
yes.
right, okay. So the animals work hard, but they see no reward. How do
That was projected and brought into focus by Major. The animals are thinking that deep about that. They went to that meeting curious because Major said he had a dream. So everybody went to
ah
hear what he's dreaming about. So he used that opportunity. He got them there. And this is what happens in our politics. It happened at 18. You bring the DJs, you get a party like atmosphere, you get all the people to come and then you deliver your message.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity.
Yes, let me read some of the comments of some of the comments here. Somebody says we are a great depiction of Animal Farm. The inequalities are stark. It mirrors Barbados a long time now. Um, okay, somebody says if the British can criticize the royal family, why can't we have constructive criticism of the leaders? Because
Great
this
point.
was, yeah, this
Yes.
was Jacqueline. This was a critique of the leaders,
Mhm,
the rulers of Britain. This was written in the UK, right?
mhm.
Yeah. Somebody said she has poultry and canine crew who venomously attack you.
Yes. I can agree because some told me today on social media, oh, go back to game. You could best stop being, continue to be a games teacher. My response is I will continue to be a games teacher because I'm assisting the youth of Barbados to to realize their full potential. But I want your government to stop playing games with our lives.
Yeah,
So they attack you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. And somebody says the animals were fighting for socialism.
Yes.
Is that what it is? They wanted everybody to be equal, they wanted to be treated well, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Mr. Jones, Carol is saying, Mr. Jones, the drunken farmer, neglected and exploited the animals. And she says, this reminds me of the present leaders,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes.
So in light of that, Marcel, have here when I was taking my notes, Major speech is like a good old Bajan line. It was persuasive, passionate, and gets everybody vibing. So he uses powerful language and imagery to stir up the animals, putting a vivid picture of a utopian future where animals were free and equal. So like a master DJ spinning words to get the crowd energized.
Mm, mm. So the speech was very, very important. Yes, and that is why, because
Yes.
I love what you said, that the animals were resting, and they were sleeping. Remember, we said they were sleeping, and it because
Yes.
Major said they had a dream. He had a dream, right?
Yeah.
This is Major here.
Yeah.
Major said, I had a dream. and then brought the people together, and then he gave a speech, he gave a song too. What's the importance of the song? Because why I said the importance of this song, right, guys? Let's talk about this a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the Major, after he gave the speech, there was quiet. Look at that script again. There was quiet. Then he did the song, and there was just roars and roars, and the people, they
Mm-hmm.
felt, they felt powerful after Major did the song. How important was that song? Why is that song so important?
But wait,
Anybody? Let me see. Let
okay,
me
go
see if
ahead. We see them.
anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, because we are teachers. So well, let's see anybody. Somebody says that Major speech mirrors Mayor's June 2017 speech. Where was that speech held, Sonia? Sonia, can you tell me where the speech was held? I don't know. Sam Clark said, music charms every living thing. I
Yes.
want you Barbadians to remember this, okay? The music created unity. Yeah? We're talking about music. We want to talk about the music. Okay, son is at her rally. Okay. Anything else about music? The power of music to move the animals from being so quiet to being all,
Revs up.
energized and chanting and singing and they,
But we know, Marcia, how a good carnival calypso can get a whole island dancing, an entire island. That is the power of music.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Um, um, Music cements the
Cements the
message
message
into
in
the
the heart.
heart.
Yes, if
Wow.
you got a good hook line, you don't have to know any of the verses, but you got a good hook line. There goes the song. Becomes the
Yes,
hook. Yes.
yes. And look at what Judy Jilks, I'm going to leave your comment because that's where we're getting to. Because what we have to do is open the eyes of Barbadians to understand why it is that they're flying all of these artists into Barbados. They
Yes.
bring in Luciana, they bring in remember all of these campaigns. You remember they bring in
It's
all
St.
of these
Vincent as
people.
well. Yes, yes. It's St. Vincent,
Yeah,
just one. Yes.
yeah, all these people were brought in, and think about even Barbados when after that speech was made, Sonia, in 2017, by Mia Motley. Look at the musicians that from Jamaica. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them made dub plates to her and put her name in the dub plates. Music, the power of music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tanisha says repetitiveness get into the minds of the
Millions of the
people,
people. Yes.
right? It is catchy and it is memorable, right? The music hypnotized the people.
Yeah.
Music is spiritual. The lyrics resonated with them. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Now, do we realize how important a fete is to this
Mhm.
government?
Yes.
What happens at a fete?
Free food, drinks flowing, and you forget your
And
tunes.
and music.
Yes.
You can't have a fete without
With
music.
music. Yes.
Listen, if you don't have music and you share somebody a plate of food and they like it, they go, ooh, and they start to dance up and walk up eating the food. Because music is so much part of us.
Yes.
And everything that the comment section is on fire tonight, man.
Mhm.
If anything is repeated, true or false, the
And
mind
then
gradually accepts it. Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yes, they cast their spells through the food, the drinks, and the music. Listen, this is very very important
Yes.
because if you read that story again, that chapter again, you would notice when he was finished the speech. Repeat them. You're not hearing me? Hmm. Are you hearing me, Mr. Bob? Something
In
is
and
wrong.
out. You're dropping in and out sometimes.
The devil is a
Yeah.
liar. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I can.
You're hearing me now?
Yeah,
Okay. Let me know when I'm going in and out. And that was throughout the night or it just started?
not too long started.
Okay. Don't know. Everything is on here. So I'm not sure what that was about. All right, so we'll go ahead because listen, we're going down the road tonight. I want us to really think. Put on your thinking caps and think, guys. We're gonna come out of this together. All right. Now, one of the theme is the exploitation of the working class.
Hmm.
Animals work hard but see no reward. That was a theme of Major's speech, right? The workers are paying more taxes, higher cost of living, but they're still struggling. Workers paying this is the parallel to Barbados. Do you think, Mr. Bab? Workers
Yes,
paying more taxes, higher cost of living, and still struggling. You wanna talk on that? Are poor Barbadians carrying the load while the elites reap the benefits? And I think Dave has a little video there from Mr. Thorne that it would be good if he could set it up to
yes,
play it soon. But go ahead, Mr. Bab.
yes. Because here it is. We have on the heels of parents being served letters or thinking about being served letters. Um, they said it wasn't to. It was just to bring their attention. But I think when that was first discussed, they will show how much we pay for your education, so we can send you letters to put you on a guilt trip. I'm not saying that you're not appreciative of what is being done for education, but do not give the impression as if it's your money or if you're doing us a favor and the children a favor. So I'm saying that they have, and then on the heels of that, we are seeing the increase in consultants, influencers are brought on. Now they have turned to commissioners. We have media consultants as well, media persons. So I am saying that this government has a way of elevating those persons who is closer to them, and then they apply the the cost to the poor people. So that money that you're paying the increasing consultants and media consultants for every ministry comes from us. But
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to make us the poor people feel that we're not showing appreciation for what is spent on education. Something is fundamentally wrong with that thinking.
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. Let's hear Mr. Bob is
So,
Mr. Thorne is going to you know basically say the same thing you're saying, but he's going to use the tourism sector to do it. Go
yeah.
ahead, Dave.
Sweet words that mean nothing. The people in this country are not doing well, and they're not doing well because this country is not doing well by the poor people of Barbados. This country is not doing well for the poor people of Barbados. Who is doing well, though? Who is doing well? Just a few. And a few are doing well, and the majority are doing unwell because of this government's direct policies. This is a government that rewards persons who have enough wealth to own villas. They get concessions. People who own Airbnb are punished with taxation, punished. And all of them are not poor people. They're people, middle class people who struggling, who want the children moved out. And they have vacant parts of the house, perhaps upstairs, perhaps downstairs. And they want some tourists to come in and spend 6, 8, 9 months of the year for an exchange in their hands. And while the government is giving concessions to villa owners, this government is giving concessions to villa owners for the purchase of a plate to put on a table, for the purchase of a piece of art, they're getting concessions. And a poor man, or a man who is not poor but is middle income, tries to pull himself up by his bootstrap, tries to live a life of commercial dignity by turning his domestic residence into a commercial enterprise, this government is punishing him. That is what this government is doing. And coming here telling me about social policy. You have a social policy expert out there. Ask him if that is good social policy. Ask him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is when I heard this today, and I remember reading the book. I said today we got to play this tonight because that's a question we're asking: are poor Barbadians carrying the load while the elites reap the benefits? Because this is what Major was saying, that man, Mr. Jones is, they're the ones providing the milk, they provide the eggs, they get nothing.
They get
You
nothing.
know, they get nothing, and they are milking us. They're milking us with taxes, all of the taxes. We laying the eggs, we producing the milk, and what happens? They even said, "Oh, we had excess taxes. We collected excess taxes this year." You saw that?
I saw that,
Excess
but
taxes.
if you collect excess anything, is it ethical to give back persons? So we are bracing. But I am saying if you overtax and you have millions more than you estimated, why are you not giving back what you took more than was necessary? But people should be asking that question. Why aren't you giving back what you took? You overtaxed us. That is why when you file your tax returns and you're overtaxed, you get back a tax return. But you're bragging that you have collected millions more. But we're not
Yeah.
saying anything.
They said that they have collected, that they, I mean, their revenue, they bursted it. I mean, their budget, they went, they collected so much from us. And we're seeing that this is what was happening with the pigs. With the pigs are
Animals.
saying they slaughter us.
Mhm.
They get meat from us. The chicken says, you know what? They get the eggs. Dave, if you could put back the Animal Farm book on the screen, thank you so much. They get the eggs from us. They get milk from us. What else did they say they get from them? So they got meat, they got eggs, they
Mm,
got milk. What else the animals give them?
who was there? Or they plow the fields.
They
Yes,
plow the fields,
yes, yes.
right?
Yeah.
The animals plow the fields.
And they get just a ration of food and that kind of thing. I can remember some of it, yes.
Yes,
But
yes,
they're doing the
yes.
hard work.
Yeah, and as there's somebody here saying, as a parallel in Barbados, the elderly people are saying we're under pressure. It's very hard for we the sinners are suffering under the hands of these
Yes,
liars.
because
No policy vote out the BLP.
yeah, the person has a point because after we are now forced to work until almost 70 years old, right into the grave. Then when these people get any, hear some of the pensioners complain about how much taxes they have to pay. They're paying
Mm,
again after paying before. Something is fundamentally wrong with that. And it's hurting them because they have to, and it's really hurting because they still have to live.
yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. Are there any other themes that we got? Anything else that we got out of chapter one? Let me that we did not highlight
Yes,
so far. I
yes,
want to hear from others. Go ahead, Mr. Bob.
yes. For me,
Chapter one, because we
chapter
know you
one,
were
yes,
going
yeah,
back,
we're
but
not going forward.
we go
I'm talking about
first for
chapter
chapter
one
one.
because I'm looking at Major speech, who set up the whole, the rest of the book.
Mm-hmm.
He set the revolution in motion by that speech.
Yes.
And although he was correct in highlighting what the animals were suffering and experiencing, we still have to be aware of the tactics of charismatic leaders who
Mm.
use similar strategies against people. Listen to how our present Prime Minister speaks. She used emotional appeals, catchphrases, not about here, playing on, and then she play on people's fears, hopes, and dreams. You set them up, and then you pretend as if you're offering simplified solutions to complex problems, and then you start to create a sense of unity against a common enemy. So
Mm. Can
although
you repeat
he
that? Because that's so accurate, guys. Do you think Mr. Bob is correct? I'm listening to him. Mr. Bob, you sure that you don't teach literature as well? Because the way you
I,
broke down and
I love
analyzed
reading.
major speech, I love it. Anybody else out there? I want any other literature lovers out there. But go again, slowly, Mr. Bob. I love that.
Major, although Major was correct in highlighting the conditions of the animals, we have to be aware of the tactics of charismatic leaders, where they play on people's fears and their hopes and dreams. And that is what we are seeing currently. Use phrases like not about here, stay the course, those kind of things. And then they offer simplified, it is easy, simplified and straightforward answer to complex problems. And then they start to create a sense of unity against a common enemy. And that is why they coined the phrase a lost decade.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Powerful. Um. Chapter 1 shows the different temperament types out there.
Yes.
Can you clarify that? One of our producers wrote that. Can you clarify what do you mean the different temperament types out there? We're talking about chapter 1. Anybody else want to discuss? Is there anything else that we did not discuss in chapter 1 that we have 15 minutes that we
Mhm,
can look at this evening? Marie says they're setting up people for failure and pretending they care.
mhm.
That's what he was doing. VR said playing on the people's minds. Aha, my friend, we in this together.
Together. Yes, that is what, yes,
Ah,
yes.
Jocelyn, come to the front of the class. Wow.
And you see,
Any yeah.
that kind of thing, those kind of, and when people, and when it's attack us in our vulnerable moments, we tend to overlook critical details or red flags.
Mm,
So we don't pay attention
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You
because then we're
know,
captivated.
you're captivated, right? Now,
Yeah.
guys, I want you to your comments. We will highlight the comments that are speaking specifically to chapter 1. And so the question we're asking now, are there any other themes that we might have missed? Something, that we should have seen and we did not pick up. Yeah. Somebody, Pedro, is saying they're calling everybody comrades, right? So it's that oneness. We are one. We are
Mhm.
one. So that's what it. We in this thing together. We in it together. Yes. Wow. Now sweet talk. Okay. Somebody says, I guess this is a manner, because you see, Major, the thing about it is that Major, Lucinda, and Mr. Bob was alluding to it too. Major was somebody respected, the voice of Major. When Major called the people together and they came together,
Right.
right? So there's some kind of respect for Major. And then what happened again is that, and you alluded to it, Mr. Bob, is that Major said he had a dream.
Hmm.
So he appealed to the spiritual consciousness of the people,
Yes.
right? And an emotional side of the people. And
Right.
they knew what Major knew what to say. And so they came together to hear this dream. But you know what? Up to now, I have not heard the dream.
No dream. He didn't
He
tell
did
them the
not
dream.
have
He
a
tricked
dream.
them.
He tricked
He
them to
tricked
get them
them.
there.
Yes. And a 2018 Barbadians got tricked. big time.
You know that even in school, I didn't realize this. In my literature class, a major invited them to hear this dream, but I didn't hear the dream yet. Major is something else.
The meeting get break up because you bit on a frenzy and you hear you dream.
Major have them singing song, and
Yeah,
Major
same,
started a revolution.
and not a fellow and ask a question, but Major
What,
tell me what the dream is.
Major, what is the dream? Whoa. Rescue Beam said,
Somebody said
powerful.
NSRL was the trick. Go back to that.
Oh my Lord. He even solved Rescue Bim said powerful speaker Major, softer and naive Clover is you're breaking down the personality type.
Yes.
Clover is softer and naive.
Yeah,
And you have the standoff Benjamin. Benjamin is a horse.
I believe so. Or let me
Benjamin,
please
check for me.
have a
And
check.
the pigs right up front. The pigs were up front from the start.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the pigs, I wonder if the pigs always had a plan, because the pigs were up front from start. Okay, Benjamin is a donkey.
Yes.
Boy, and that donkey carried enough load. Wow.
So we had the charismatic speaker projecting the what they wanted to put forward to the other animals, and
Wow.
the other 28 stand around while she speaks. While she speaks, not another fella say a word, and that is what happens.
Yeah, somebody said, note that the owner of the farm was a drunkard and he neglected the animals. Note also the name of the farm was Manor,
Mhm.
because it was man. I
Yes,
guess. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow. Yes, he hoodwinked the animals.
he had no idea.
Wow.
True. Yes,
Yes. Yes. Okay, let's stay on chapter 1. We want to stay on chapter 1, and we have another 6 minutes. Yeah. Any other themes, guys, in chapter 1? Yes. Yes. You
yes,
know,
it's true. Major camouflage is a spiritual leader. That is true.
yes. Oh, so the dream is that one day we will be free. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Just like me, as somebody said, hoodwinked Bajans about the NSRL.
Yes,
Anybody? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about because that was the big draw, I think, initially. Do you all
yes,
think the NSRL? They found something that they could use to connect with all Barbadians, and they how did tell us about the NSRL, Mr. Bob, and then talk to the people about this hoodwinking that went on.
the NSRL was seen as the by the merchants as the reason why food was high in Barbados
Food. And so
because
that's
of
essential.
food and other things. Yes,
Uh-huh.
but we would know that some economists and accountants would say to us that that was the fairest tax of around. But they used it and they played on the emotion of
Why was it the fairest tax, you think?
because it applied to the merchants.
It applied to the merchant class, those that
Yes,
were doing the selling. And a lot
yes,
of them, right, and there was a belief that a lot of them were finding loopholes, not paying their taxes. And so this
yes,
was now a tax that the government was sure to get from them. And so
yes.
it was a fair tax. Okay, continue.
And then once they were able to convince the masses that that is the reason why They were paying tax. They were even so convincing that they paid people for the day to go and march.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, VAT, which is only paid by the consumer, was collected, not paid in, and then it was written off.
Right. So this was, as somebody said, that tax was paid upfront on the delivery of goods. So
Yes,
right. So they would thank you, Rescue BIM. Then the government then would get its, it
directly.
wasn't passing too many
Yes,
hands. Okay. So that would have, they were trying to recover the economy with that
yeah.
tax. Continue, Mr. Bob.
So then once the BLP recognized that they could do like VAT default and don't pay. Okay. Once the government recognized that we had them, because you played on the emotional like measure of the people who were experiencing some difficulty, because the present prime minister admitted before after that there was a downturn in the worldwide economy that affected us.
Mm-hmm. So
But
that was,
that
that was worldwide. So
yes,
worldwide, and everybody, America went through it.
yes.
It took a couple of years to get here, but
So
we
what
were in a worldwide recession.
recession? So what the government was doing was coming up with ways and means where they can collect money to keep us afloat and
Mm-hmm.
not put all the burden on the poor people. You see?
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't. But the people weren't listening at that time. They were angry, so they were able to get away with it. So the hoodwink was that they used that the emotion of perceived hardship, not of our own making, but because of external factors, and they were able to convince people that it was the fault of the Democratic Labour Party at that time, and they went after them in a big way.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. So well, and then somebody else. So the NRSL was one thing. Somebody says if it had remained, food wouldn't be so high, and government would have made a killing with that tax. So that then, but the merchants didn't want that, and
No,
so it was the same merchants people that funded the campaign of Mia Motley.
yeah,
And the BLP. So you see what the whole thing of what happened, the elites
mhm,
basically, and this is why to this day this government is basically subservient to the elite. They serve the elites in this country, and the poor people suffer in this country because of that relationship. It's
yeah,
always been that relationship really with the BLP and the elite, based on my research, and we saw it happen with this government, because if the elites paid for your campaign when you go in, this is why, as soon as they went in, the first tax they removed was the NSRL tax.
quid
But
pro
then
quo.
they said they were going to move back. Nothing happened. Did they
No,
actually
up to
say that?
today, yes, they were going to reduce VAT. And
Reduce VAT.
VAT, yes,
Reduce VAT.
because it was 15 and it went to 17.5, and they were going to reduce it. And then there was a tax on this 2% tax on credit cards usage. Is it still there?
Mm-hmm.
They have
Yeah,
not reduced it.
yeah.
And they have
But
not
but
taken out that.
yeah.
Hmm.
But the other thing that we must talk about, that they did at that time as well, part of the propaganda, was that the narrative was out there that the DLP were stealing the money,
Yes.
and the Bajans fell for this two-tongue. Oh Lord, I read. I thought it was. I, oh Jesus, my people are my people, my
They're
people.
on fire tonight. They're on fire tonight.
People, my people, my people. I
They're on
love my
fire tonight.
Jamaican people.
But
Listen,
it's good. It is good that the people have know, or the people here have recognized what was done to them psychologically in 2018. And if
yes,
they think that they're going to get away with it this time, they're not going to get away with it. I
no,
think that we have a more conscious persons, people out there who are going to look at the issues, who are going to think carefully about what you're saying. So no amount of getting up at a branch meeting and telling people to keep the mouth shut, don't talk about Barbados. Then you went and splashed over the international airwaves that Barbados was thinking on the south coast, and there's alleged evidence that the sewage was tampered with. And as soon as you got in, the sewage was off the street.
Mm.
And,
Exactly.
and,
So
and,
that
and
was
that was on
another.
media. And that was
So
on social media.
so Mr. Bob, and I can tell you that based on my account and what I heard from people who went and tried to remove what was blocking, I was reliably informed by people. That's how I can put it. I can call names, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
choosing not to.
Mm-hmm.
That they told me they're totally convinced it was man-made. It was something that was created.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about something somebody put on social media. I'm talking about people who helped to clear it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear me, folks? And I'm not telling tales on here. I'm not going to call names, but I'm telling you, this is what they're alleging. That and they said from the moment they called Mr. Bob and told the people in charge what they found, they have not heard anything back from those people. And they left the stuff out there and went home to do something, to bring back some men to clear. And when they came, the debris, that whatever was blocking was gone. It was like a movie.
Yeah.
Somebody moved it in about 30-40 minutes. It was gone. They were stuck in a little traffic. By the time they got there, Mr. Bob, it was gone clean. So the allegation is that that too was a lie. That
Mm-hmm.
too was man-made. But let's get to this part here, though. The narrative that the DLP were stealing the money. I want to show Dave something here, and this is why I'm telling you that it's a narrative. And I see Don is here, and we want to move quickly to talk about this money. But look at this picture here, Dave. Right? Look at the picture that I sent you. And while he's doing that, look at the um the DLP, the former minister that the prime minister has as one of our advisors. Is one of those that she told all of us she was going to get locked up.
Yes.
Remember, this was, what was his name? He's the one that is at the UN, and that, yeah, the World Bank, and advising her, and is a campaign advisor at this time.
Chris Sinclair.
Chris Sinclair. Chris Sinclair was one of those who, remember, Chris Sinclair was one of those, right, that was supposed to be locked up. And
Mm-hmm.
also Michael Lashley. And we're not telling anything that if we had time, we could actually read you what the prime minister, who was the opposition leader, said at that time to the PAC, when the PAC was working, the Public Accounts Committee was working, but when she was leader of the opposition. And you know what she says? This man on the left here, Michael Lashley, needs to be investigated. Did you all know that? But now we can see in many pictures this man and the prime minister are hugging. In fact, he's warmly welcomed to the party, and he comes in, he gets a standing ovation. This is the same man that should be under investigation. So what is that telling us? Was it propaganda at the time? It seems to me that the prime minister was creating a propaganda at the time, because you know what? She now has two of the main culprits that she said were involved, working for her very closely. One is now a campaign, is an advisor to her campaign, to the upcoming campaign, also advisor on financial matters. She gave him a big job at the World Bank.
Mm-hmm.
He was rewarded then
And I'm,
folks.
I'm and I'm hearing about some chaos being created in St. Philip in a constituency between. Look, this is so funny. The clashes.
Yeah. So I mean, this is some of the things. Now we're going to continue this tomorrow, but do you all think that we need to go on to chapter 2, or we need to stay in chapter 1? We probably should go on to chapter
To
2.
chapter 2, yes.
So we're going
Yes.
to go on to chapter 2. We're going to go on to chapter 2, folks, and we're going on to chapter 2 for Friday. All right, Friday, chapter 2. This is so exciting that, you know what, we can't stop this one. All right,
I will do.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're going to chapter 2. How many of you are going to read chapter 2? Let me see the thumbs up. Did you enjoy this tonight, and are you going to read chapter 2? Let me see the hands up. While I get Don in, and Dave will just let's put up the PowerPoint, Dave.
Once you bring Don in, I'm going to complete a
Yes,
number of
yes,
things. And I will join you a little later, but I will listen
yes.
in.
Let me.
But I wanted to get this animal farm. It was so exciting, and I will read chapter 2 and look for some key
Yes.
points to bring
So,
Friday night.
Dave, you have the PowerPoint right there. Check the WhatsApp, and then we are going to jump in. Let me bring Mr. Don Leacock. Okay. Don Leacock in. People are going to read the book. Welcome, Mr. Leacock.
Good night,
You're
Don.
wearing glasses,
Hi, good
man.
night, everybody. Good night. Good night, Marcia. Good night, Owen. Hi.
Ay, ay, ay.
Pleasure to be here.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see that you're wearing glasses now. Looking quite studious.
Yeah, I wear them every now and then. Most of the time I don't have them on, but just when I need to be extra sharp, just make sure that.
Well, you're ready to be studious, all
Yes.
studious tonight, right?
hmm For sure.
Yeah. Well, we were just, as Dave. I'm waiting on the PowerPoint from Dave, but we were just talking about Animal Farm, and the
Mhm.
people are quite excited watching the not watching. We were going through the book, and I mean, it wasn't boring at all. Everybody seemed to really,
Yeah.
really love it.
I read that book in second form at
Hmm.
Harrison College. It's a great book. It because it teaches you early on about politics in a more relatable and understandable way.
Yes.
hmm
Yes. And what you can remember, it's a long time ago. Anything from it while we set up? Um,
well, I remember everything. Well, I don't want to spill too much because y'all only did chapter 1 today, right?
yeah, we only did chapter 1. Yeah, we only did chapter
Ye-
1, so we don't want to
so
go in.
it just gives a great metaphor about how one of the most famous lines in the book is all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. That's the most famous quote from the whole book. So I don't know which chapter specifically you'll find that, but closer to the end. It starts
Yes,
off as a normal farm, everybody's having a great time, but quickly you find out that some animals are more equal than others.
equal than others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hope you can join us another night where I would love to hear, because you're sharp, you look sharp and your brain sharp. So I would love to have you on one of these nights when we are looking at probably chapter 2 or chapter 3, as we'll see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Sounds
Yes.
good.
Well, we are looking here now on the question is, if I can get this thing to stay up, Dave, you probably help me. As you know, elections in the air, that's what we're saying. And so we're
Mhm.
looking at, where is the $7.3 billion. At this point, it's about, probably near $8 billion that were borrowed in
This
total
is
from
total
various
loans.
total
Mhm.
loans, some different
Mhm.
sources, whether it's the IMF, it's a World Bank, it is a IADB, is it the Chinese? It's almost 8 billion, B with a B,
With
billion
a
dollars.
yeah,
You
with a
understand me? $8 billion. And you know what? You did your practice in CPA. I'm no longer practicing, but we both studied as accountants. So it's interesting that we're on here tonight together.
Mhm.
Um, and so people, you need to know that Don is here tonight. He's very qualified to be talking about this topic. He's a qualified, certified public accountant. Myself have been trained in that. I don't practice in Barbados, but I do still have some knowledge of accounting. And so he, even more than myself, is more qualified, well qualified to be looking at this topic. And we're honored to have you with us tonight, Mr. Leacock, in your glasses, looking professional and everything. Yes.
Mhm.
So we have the slides. So what we're gonna do, Don, we're gonna go through the slides, and then you're gonna take it away as you see fit. Okay. So we're calling it, to me, as a legacy, a tale of compulsory borrowing. 2018 to 2025, because it just seems like something is wrong here. Dave, go to the next slide, please. So thousands of Bajans are asking. I see it online. Even some of their own influencers are now asking, where the money gone? Everybody today on my timeline, on my Facebook, and all about that is what people asking. They're looking around Barbados and asking where the money gone. And the government answering, government tell us the garbage trucks, the buses, and then they blame some other things. So what are do you hear this? Is this a sentiment do you hear from your friends or people in business, or do you hear
Mhm.
this sentiment?
Yeah, I mean, everybody is definitely concerned about the high levels of borrowing. The borrowing is outrageous. It's untenable. It's really surprising that, the thing is, they control the entire parliament. They can just push these things through, and there's not much anybody can do to stop it. When you look and see what are the massive infrastructure projects that can be justified with this 7 billion, I mean, all you can really look to is a couple of resorts, a couple of hotels. The only thing the government can say is that they built resorts, they built hotels. And these are private companies that built these, that are making profits that aren't even staying in Barbados most of the time. Most of the managerial level occupations in all these resorts are brought in. There are work permit people. It's never Bajans getting these jobs. Government like to say a lot of the time that they're building all these hotels. Oh, you're creating jobs. Yeah, but minimum wage jobs, whether that be maids or groundskeepers. It's never quality jobs for Bajans. So the
Mhm.
only real infrastructure you can say that's been built in the last couple of years is a whole set of hotels, and that's not doing anything for our tax dollars. What are the actual tangible things you can only spend? Even if you were to say you spent that entire amount on roads, it's never, the roads are awful. They haven't spent anything. So when you really look at what has been borrowed, this is the most in history. You have to take account that Mia has borrowed the most money of any government in history, and she's also taxed the citizens of Barbados the most money in history. So when you get both of those receipts as government, you should be pouring them into social services, pouring them into infrastructure that's for all citizens, not the visitors or a certain people. So you really need to look and ask yourself, well, what really is happening with all this money? And yes, where is the money gone? Because you
Where's the
can't
money
really
gone?
see it. The buses, they can't say it's their buses. China donated the largest fleet of electric buses in the world to the
They
government.
bought some. They bought some, but China
Mhm.
also donated some.
Right. And now they're selling off the entire transport board. They're selling off all those donated buses. So China donated buses, they're selling them for cash. So that's going to be very concerning as well. Garbage trucks, sure, you can spend a couple $1 million on garbage trucks, but Marcia, it's 7.3 billion. I believe that's the figure you mentioned.
Yes, and that was, I
There's
mean,
not.
based on, if you begin to look at, when because we're at the end of the year, by now it's about 8 billion. It's going to be
Mhm,
close to 8 billion at this point.
mhm.
Yeah, but the
Another
next slide, Dave.
435 million for the hospital, I believe it was recently.
Yeah.
It's a
You
lot, but
know,
I mean, the hospital and education, it's easier to justify those. But in total, all of this borrowing to build resorts and all these things that don't benefit the everyday Bajan, it's not worth it.
yes, yes. And you talked about the resorts. I mean, we have to, as you said, remember that these are investors. So what they're
Mhm.
doing, the government is more facilitating the development and not really spending money. They probably one or two they might own, but from my understanding, Don, you can correct me on this, but I thought that it was the private developers that they're spending their money
Mhm.
to so I don't even know. I mean, how do you spend 7 point something billions? Oh my god, Dave, the next slide, Dave, thank you. Wow. Now,
$1.
yeah, let me $1. That was long ago,
Yeah,
right?
these
Yeah.
weren't in circulation in my life. I never seen these.
We just went back. Why we must grade this performance? As you just said, we're borrowing 7 to 8 billion in 7 years. So basically, I mean, this year alone, we borrowed almost 2 billion in 2025, almost 2 billion, right? But in
Mhm.
7 years, we borrowed 8 billion. The public has a right to demand evidence of transformation, okay?
Mhm.
The value for the money borrowed and the sustainability of the debt. Your
Mhm.
thoughts on that, Don?
Something that I saw today, Marcia. I
Hmm.
believe it's in Antigua, that they have a portal launching early next year that's gonna show all of the government contracts and who
Yes,
currently
I
has
saw
them.
that.
That was
Speak on that.
incredible.
Speak some more on that.
So that I only saw it today, and I mean it seems to be the plan, and that would be incredible. We need to be following the best practices of accountability all throughout CARICOM, and that was a great step by I believe it is Antigua for doing that.
Antigua.
So
Why? Explain, Dan, because Don, you and I, but explain why would having a portal, displaying all the contracts, why is that a good best practice?
just so that it's transparency, Marcia, it's so that the public can both fairly bid on getting any government contract and so that you can see if there are discrepancies. If you're seeing, okay, there are 100 total construction contracts for minimum, I mean, for low income housing, and one company has like 92 of those 100 contracts, and then is only 8 to other people, it's just things like that you'd be able to see. You'd be able to see the discrepancies. You'd be able to see if there's favoritism or of one set of people over another. So it's just about the transparency and accountability. You couldn't have ministers just willy nilly granting projects to companies. Let's say that it's like a really big multi-million-dollar project. You can't
Hmm.
really have somebody that just incorporated, a month before the contract was awarded get that. You know what I mean? It would you'd have to show track records. It would
Hmm.
really ensure that the people that have been in the industries working hard aren't overlooked, or even if they are, it would be able so that forums like this we could come and talk about it, because we would be able
Right.
to on your show pull up the government website and be like, well, look, this company got this company got this company got this.
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
just all about transparency and accountability.
Yeah, as Vihoy says, that is transparency, and it allows everyone the opportunity to view these
Mhm.
contracts.
And bid
Jacqueline,
for them at the same time, because the
and
more
bid
so
for
is
them.
bidding for them is important as well. Not many people know that in theory anybody can bid for a government contract as well, but it's there's a website, and yes, not many people know about the process or anything at all.
Yes, yes. Jacqueline is saying, why don't they just introduce the Freedom of Information Act like they promised, so everything is visible? If we are in this together, we shouldn't have to beg for the FOI.
Yes,
Hmm.
sure.
Somebody said they're tired talking. The next slide, Dave. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Stay with us and stay with us, guys. Somebody's saying here they won't do that, Don. They have that portal with all of the contracts, etc. Because then they can't profit. They can't profit from total transparency. That's why we need to vote them out and hold them accountable. And probably that's why they do not want to pass the Integrity in Public Life Act, Don.
Yeah, and I mean they had it there since they got into power in when 2018, not even the last time in 2018.
They
And
said that's what they're going to do.
yeah, and they're just there dangling it over people's heads, but they're never gonna pass it. A politician will never, try to make his life more difficult, and it's sad. There needs to be a lot more accountability in the profession on a whole. $7 to $8 billion, Marcia. That's the most in history, and the most taxes collected as well. The most taxes charged. It doesn't make any sense.
They're
And
not making any
the
sense.
biggest scandal to do with it is sending that bill to the parents, trying to show them what education costs. The parents pay taxes for that reason, Marcia. It's not even really relevant what education costs, because all those parents pay lots and lots and lots of taxes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing it from you guys, because sometimes they think we are, you're a professional. Those of you who are just joining, and we have people who are qualified among us, and a lot of times we don't give Jack the jacket. This young man is a certified public accountant. I know that's not an easy thing to achieve, and he's here tonight, and as a young Barbadian speaking to us, and I really want you to share the live and to really listen to him very keenly. Now, Don, we have here compulsive borrow, right? The metaphor, all right? It's like a compulsive gambler. We know how it is. People, are compulsive gambler. They don't have to have a reason. Some people, they say, boy, they're gonna try and do it. They're gonna gamble, because they have to pay school fees coming up, and they're trying to, get some money, or to buy a house, or to get the down payment. But compulsive gambler, listen, they will take the earrings out of the children's ears and go sell them to
Yeah,
gamble
it's
with that
true.
money. Isn't it
It's
true?
true. Yeah,
Yeah,
very true. Mm-hmm.
yeah. um, Compulsive borrow metaphor is being used because we're borrowing more to pay old loans, right? So we're
Mm-hmm.
not generating enough productivity, right? We are
Mm-hmm.
borrowing more to pay off our old loans. Think about that,
Yeah, and then
Barbadian.
another big problem, Marcy, is that a lot earlier on, in previous times when climate change was cooler to the international community and everything, Mia was getting all these loans, and she was saying, "Oh yes, these interest rates are so low," but a lot of those interest rates over time have ballooned now. So whereas she might have been able to boast and say, "Oh, we started getting this interest rate at 2% a year." Now some of those are at 7-8% a year. And as you said, now we're just having to borrow money to pay off debt. We're not getting to borrow money to invest in infrastructure. That's why we're having all this borrowed money, and you're not seeing this great infrastructure because we're borrowing this money just to pay off money that we previously borrowed. It's just getting a very nasty cycle. So I mean, there's when you get in a debt trap like that, think about that. If you were a person, how irresponsible that would be, Marcia. Let's say you had a credit card that you had to pay off. Yeah, the bill was like maybe $3,000-$4,000, and then you took out another credit card and paid it off with that credit card. So now you went deeper in the hole, and then you have to take out a third credit card to pay off the second credit card. So that's how you could liken it to individual. We would look at that individual and be like, "Oh my, you shouldn't be operating in the financial system. You're very irresponsible." So the same way we would look at an individual like that, we need to look at a nation like that, just constantly borrowing, constantly taxing its people. We pay some of the highest taxes in the world on fuel, on our salaries on a whole. It's very high. And there needs to be an end somewhere. There needs to be some kind of silver lining at the end of the tunnel somewhere.
Yeah, but Don, if you had a client, because you have your clients and folks look up Don Leacock, you want to do your taxes, you need person. He didn't tell me to do this, but he's here doing this for free for us, taking time to do it. So he does financial services, etc. But say you have someone, Mr. Leacock, before you, and you are giving them financial advice, and they've come to you with this kind of situation that they have all of this loan, and then every year they borrow more and more and more and more to go. What would you, first of all, what would be your impression of that person, and what would you say to them? Take it on a personal level for us.
Well, yeah, that's what I tried to do the analogy earlier. So it's if somebody is, in massive amounts of debt, what can happen is sometimes somebody might, they might have a decent job for a period of time, or they might have got like a decent contract if they're a businessman. And for that period of time, whether that's maybe 6 months to 2 years, a shorter term period of time, they were receiving quite a bit more than they do monthly. And
Mm-hmm.
then when that contract or a job ends, they can't end up living up to that same lifestyle. So it's like living beyond your means is kind of what this government is doing. But how do you live beyond your means as a government? What that looks like is having the highest, the biggest cabinet in history, is having 22 ministers, is having Keemar Stewart did a good graphic about it. He posted today the amount of money, just the sheer millions of dollars that they're spending in ministers' salaries every single year. So that's what living beyond your means looks like as a government. So much of this money is borrowed so that it can be paid to consultants, Marcia. We have the biggest cabinet in history, but what? And then all of these ministers still need consultants, Marcia. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
How if there's so many ministers that each minister is supposed to have their own little niche? Like there's a minister of people empowerment and a separate minister of community empowerment. You know what I mean? The niches are so small. So how then do all of these people need consultants as well, that they're paying out millions and millions of dollars to? So this is really where all of that money is going. It's going it's just being doled out to the biggest cabinet in history. This same prime minister we have now said that 16 ministers is too much. And how many does she have, Marcia? 22. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit of hypocrisy there. So
Yes.
that's where a lot of all of this money is going. So to circle back to what you were saying, as on an individual level, you would be telling this person that, look, you're being really financially irresponsible right now. You really need to get a grip on your spending. And what that looks like as a Barbados government, you need to slow down paying all of these consultants, slow down awarding all of these wild contracts. You need to slow down with all of that and just get back to what matters. Invest money in health, education, and the core things that will make life easier for Bajan citizens.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. Very, very clear, Mr. Leacock. Now, the other analogies, economists, some of them in Barbados, leading economists, you're talking about Mr. Wood and Howard and leading economists in this country, they warn of a Ponzi style debt management. And
Mm-hmm.
you have the Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme is where you're basically taking the money from one set of people to pay the bills, and it's this thing that is
Yes.
going around, but there's not real. You really don't have any money.
No.
It's a Ponzi style debt management. Do you concur with this?
Yeah, that is the case because as the interest rates go up for a lot of these loans that we have, we end up borrowing more money to pay for them. So it is a Ponzi scheme, Marcia. That is the definition of what a Ponzi scheme is: borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. When there's always going to be a Peter and Paul, it gets worse and worse and worse. So we just have to really hope that as a country we don't get to a point where it's too late. We need some new people, some fresh thinkers, somebody that can look at that approach completely differently. Because I mean, there's so much borrowed money, and then we have to hope and pray that even if our administration changes, that there's money left in the government bank accounts. They've borrowed 7 billion. Do they still have at least a little bit left, or do they have the assets? Do they have the contracts? Do they have everything in place that would show for the 7 billion, or is it just all mysteriously gone?
Interesting. Very, very deep conversation here tonight. And I'm happy to be having it with a young man that I don't think is 40 years old yet.
Not
And
even
because
30, Marcia.
not
Not
even
even 30.
30, not even 30 years old. And that means it's your generation that will have to deal with this. And so we need, I hope the next time we are doing like this, you have a couple more accountants and economists who are your age on here, because I think you guys have the answers. Let's go to the next slide, Dave. Thank you.
That's a funny comment on the screen, Marcia. I
The
would not
screen.
trust this government to run a meeting third. They would make off with all the money, all the $20 a week that you put it in.
You know that person that get their draw and then they
Yeah,
disappear.
yeah.
Oh my God! Oh my Lord! I tell you, Dave. The next. Wow! Some of these comments here. Yeah, as you were talking, it's about that debt recycling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Debt recycling is not development. So the borrowing is used to pay IMF plus old loans and is a dangerous long-term trap. So basically, we've discussed this, right? There's a debt recycling that is happening, and there's a warning for that, because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. We really need to increase our productivity. Well, I mean, they're increasing the taxes. They said it. They actually said that they raked in more revenue from taxes than they budgeted. The most taxes ever come in,
Ever, ever.
ever in the history of the country was through this government. Isn't this amazing? So what? That's why because we look around and we're like, everything look popped down. Where is the money? Isn't
Where is
that
it
interesting?
going?
The next slide, Dave. Next slide. This is so interesting. Let me read some of these comments while Dave changes the slide. Somebody said, don't pay the leaders a cent more until they explain where the missing dollars are, billions are. I'm telling you, it got to be missing because it's not in Barbados. It's not here. Don, your analytical skills are excellent and your understanding of public finance and public policy. Very good, yeah.
Thank you.
Somebody said, me, I'm practicing Madoff style money management.
That's a great comment. World class comment.
Yes. Oh my goodness! Somebody asking why we borrow so much money then, because we are supposed to have, I mean, that's what anybody who does a budget, any accountant, any businessman happy when you budget revenue, and the revenue far exceeded what you wanted. That means you pass break even, and when you're gone into, I mean, they can't really call it profit, but if you understand what I mean, you're gone into that realm. You're gone into saving now. That is basically it. But where is the money? Where is it? Daily reality for Bajans. What's a daily reality for the average person? If 8 billion borrowed, where is the transformation? We want to be able to see it done. We want to be able to see our garbage
Correct.
is not being, even though we saw new garbage trucks came in, we have to give that to them. But then a lot of them, they came in and they had to be retrofitted. And we still seem to not have enough, because you pass people's houses, you see the garbage piled up way high. I'm in Trinidad, and when I'm in Trinidad, the garbage is picked up every single day. But in some
Oh
places,
wow.
in some places, evening and morning and evening, the garbage truck comes. In some communities where my son was staying, it was every single day. We were shocked, because here we have to wait all 3-4 days before the garbage truck comes. So we
Yeah.
don't understand. So they're telling us to look at the garbage trucks, I guess garbage cans too, I don't know, buses,
Yeah, I
healthcare.
mean they did replace all the garbage cans,
They
but
did, but was there
a couple million.
mm, for the garbage cans. So that's what they're leaving. That's what we can say. They spend the money on garbage cans. Buses. They talk about. Did we see any transformation in healthcare? People out there. 7.5, close to $8 billion, billion B dollars
Well, they're
for
now they're
healthcare.
now trying to get this $435 million loan for the hospital. So that would be, well, you'd have to see what happens with that. That should be massive. This should be the biggest overhaul, the biggest upgrade we've ever seen
Yeah, but
to the
but
hospital.
7 billion is gone already. We're now trying to get that from the Chinese. They say because they tried. They said before, that I was looking for it today. I didn't get a chance that they were borrowing money for the hospital. I'm wondering if this is campaign money that they're getting because they
Oh,
said
dear.
it's on the hospital, but look at when they're getting it all of a sudden. But if you take their word at it, the point though is that the healthcare, look at the state of the healthcare now, and over 7 billion was already borrowed. But look at the healthcare, you still have to sleep. People are sleeping in the passageway on the ground. I don't know if you know that there are people sleeping in the passageway when you go there to QEH. People are
Mm,
waiting for 2-3 days to see the doctor, right?
mhm,
Look at the roads, look at education. Just look at education, look at water, look at what happened in St. Lucie. Look at even if we had spent 7 billion done and St. Lucie now has clear water, we could say, boy, it wasn't too bad then. At least the people get some clear water. But
yeah.
we can't see. They did fix some roads. They did
Mm-hmm.
fix some roads. We have to give them that. Remember, they did a lot of the mill and pave of the
Mm-hmm.
roads.
They
Right. They
did.
did
That was
fix
right, conveniently right before World Cup and stuff. But yeah.
before World Cup, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mm-hmm.
did some work on the stadium, on the not the stadium, what do we call it now, the cricket, help me, Kensington Oval.
Kensington, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but that was only 50 million but we're talking about here $7 billion, $7.5 billion, billion. But
Brilliant,
what are
yeah.
your thoughts here? Where's the transformation? Do you think? I mean, let's honestly look. Let's look honestly. We can say they did some work on the roads. Is where you think this money going, Don? Can you actually see it in Barbados?
No, it's just being slowly siphoned out in various little areas. As I said earlier, some of the things to look at are the biggest cabinet, the 22 ministers. There's so many consultants. The consultants are where the money really would be falling because those contracts are, off the books, no taxes paid. And that is where a lot of the money is going. Anybody's friend of a friend could be a consultant. Easy way to make money. So it's something that you really need to look at. And there's no accountability for any of it. That and the government contracts. Whoever all these government contracts are going to, probably a lot of kickbacks involved, and that's why they wouldn't do anything like what Antigua is doing. Antigua is being a beacon in the Caribbean for that, and I hope all of the prime ministers all over the Caribbean take a look at that. They must be really upset with Antigua for doing that, because now it shows that it is possible. It's possible for a Caribbean leader to be so open and honest with their people. So
Yeah.
I hope they use him as an example to follow.
And as somebody put it here, the sanitation workers, you've borrowed all of this money, and you still have, there's so many workers in the public sector that are saying they're not paid and not paid on time and not paid properly. Think
Hmm.
about that. Do you remember the sanitation workers were striking for their pay? These things, I don't know if we're really understanding. You have the nurses who are saying their hazard pay, they didn't get it. The firemen didn't get their hazard money. The prison service, right? The fire
Hmm.
service, the
Yeah.
police, they didn't get their hazard pay. And we're borrowing. I don't, yeah, I mean, it's like our country, somebody here says that the country, and I was thinking the same thing, should look like Dubai by now, if with 7 billion borrowed.
Like Dubai with the oil money.
Well, we don't know if we want to buy it, but I mean, I know what they're trying to say. That it should have looked so pop down at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide, Dave. Somebody says here, Tanisha, I was saying the same thing today. Our roads should be in immaculate condition for all the money we borrow, and the roads are bad. Again, the mill and pave thing was a waste of money because some of the roads, I don't know if it's the way they did them. They are now, you can see the marl being exposed
Well,
and
what happens so often, Marcia, sometimes is that they would do a road fresh and clean, and then they would have to dig it up to deal with the pipes underneath for plumbing or anything like that. So even when they did a lot of the mill and pave on the South Coast, the whole South Coast road from airport straight through the South Coast got a whole revamp. Almost every mile, at some point, they've had to dig it up completely to replace piping and stuff. So there's no coordination between, okay, let's do all of this digging up before we do a full stretch of road. The road just gets dug up to deal with plumbing and piping. So it's a real bad system. Even if you get a brand new road, it only gonna last a couple months because they're always digging it up to deal with some piping or something else.
yeah. What do you think is the impact on the poor in this country, those who are less fortunate, those who are, still doing minimum wage, on the poor? What is the impact of this kind of borrowing, you think, on the poor, Don?
Well, I mean, it's just putting them more in debt. It's forcing them to pay more taxes, whether that be in the form of VAT, whether that be in the form of pay coming out of their salaries, whether that be in every single different stamp duty, everything. There's so many different taxes that people have to pay. There's so many more taxes that people try to put on, even if it's people doing a small Airbnb. They just wanted
Mhm,
to tax those and increase regulations on those. They always try their best to stamp out as many of the vendors as possible. It's very hard to get the NCC licenses to sell anything. So it's really just having their foot on your neck all the time. And there's really not much that poor people can do there. And the amount of borrowing, it's only going to increase the amount of taxes that we have. Because when places like IMF and all the other institutions around the world that give us money, when they give us money with stipulations saying, okay, well, a perfect example is privatize a lot of your industries, and that's what they might have
mhm,
been forced to do through IMF or other agreement to privatize the bus service. Obviously, the transport board was probably losing money, but that's like saying, okay, well, the hospital is losing money. Obviously, it is because it's for free, it's for the citizens of
mhm,
Barbados. Or that's like saying schools are losing money. Obviously, there's no tuition fees, so they're
mhm,
supposed to lose money. So
mhm,
when you get rid of all of these things, just think about when this full divestment of the transport board is done. Bus fare is 350 now. Bus fare could easily double, Marcia, because it's going to be a private for-profit company running the buses, or the ZR men. Imagine if you if you left it up to the ZR men themselves to pick their own fares. What do you think the
mhm,
fare would be? The fare would drastically increase, at least
mhm.
$5, probably more. So when you think about the public service being
Yeah.
privatized, you have to ask yourself, well, what could be next? If they're willing to privatize, um, if they're willing to privatize transportation, hopefully they don't do it to education, which they could potentially be doing, where they're telling you how much the tuition fees cost. So they might be looking to privatize education next. And then, God forbid, they do it to healthcare as well. That would be the last thing that we have, free healthcare. Suppose they privatize that as well, and then there's just all for-profit hospitals, just like America. So this is really the direction that we could be heading, Marcy, and that's really, really concerning.
Yeah, it is. I mean, as someone born in Jamaica, I we are at where this is where we were like in the 70s and early 80s, and I remember when they went ahead and privatized the bus system in Jamaica, And eventually they had to, the government had to, take back some of that responsibility, because a lot of the areas that were in the country were not being serviced by buses, because if you don't have, a lot of people, passengers and so on, then those people, they don't get to, they don't have any transportation. You have to hire a car, and so it becomes difficult. And so, to me, the impact on the poor is going to be very, very, very great. And one of the things you spoke about, there are taxes, because they're, in order to pay, to service these loans, they're going to have to continue the high taxes that are right now being put, they're burdening the Barbadian people with. And I want to just remind people, Don, of these taxes. You have, and you can help me if I've forgotten any. You have the personal income tax, that's one.
Mhm.
Corporate income tax, two. VAT, that's three. Import duties, four. Excise taxes or levies, right? That's five. Fuel tax, land tax. Should we put the land tax and the property tax together, Don?
Yeah, those are the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that land tax. You have the stamp duty. You have the NIS contributions. You have special levies. That's 10. All of the, I count about 10. Did I
Hmm.
say, because there's a health levy? I didn't even put that on. You have tourism levies. You have accommodation. You have health levies. It's just a lot. And if you are working at a certain bracket, if your salary is within a certain bracket, Don, I know of people who are paying 48% of their salary is taxed.
Hmm.
You do taxes to people. Do you see this kind of thing happening? I've seen people who they're in the 40 something percent of their salary tax when they're making a certain amount of money per month.
With NAS and everything included, yes, it can get quite high. Lots of people pay 17.5% of their salary, and then when it gets over $50,000, it goes up to 28.5% of your salary. And then when you include NAS, and then the payee might be even more than the stipulated rate. So yeah, it's definitely possible to get all up in that 40 something percent range.
Of their taxes here. So the impact on the average Barbadian, we will see higher cost of living, because now the prices on the goods and that the services, right, going to go up. The service, as you were talking, worse services, starting, if they, you see, that's why they're starting with the transport board. And to me, it seems to me, I don't have all the information, but I am alleging then that this is what they're trying to do with education. I think that is where they want to get, like, it's like, oh my God, that's all the money that they're paying, but then we don't stop to think how much taxes we're paying. So they
Exactly.
so they were going to go from transportation to education to health, all those social services. To me, this is just my opinion. I don't have all the facts about it. I think that is where they're going to go.
Hmm.
Um, they are going to increase the wages of the those that do the security services by 2%, which works out, like 21 cents per person, but per hour. But when you add up, I'm sure it will make a difference for people, for some people, and but some people say that might be election gimmick, and I don't know how much difference it would make, but they are doing that. Dave, the next slide, please. Somebody saying here said, I heard a man says he can't come to Barbados often because it's too expensive. Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Hear that a lot, definitely.
Somebody said they rented a car from the airport. You have to pay a new tax now. I don't know. There's a new tax on that. Yes.
Uh,
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You remember the rental cars were complaining, and they would have
It's
to put the tax. Yes, it's true. They had to pass it on to the passengers. What is it called? Anybody remember? We were talking about it on the show as well. Yeah. Yeah, yes, yes. Somebody saying the travelers pay about 30% um in taxes for hotels alone. Do you know anything on the foreign the tax on foreign purchases?
the 2%. So that effectively devalues our currency, and it's something that people don't talk about enough, Marcia. So
Explain that to me, Dan.
essentially what they're saying is that usually your two Barbados dollars would get you one US dollar. But what we're gonna do, we're not gonna say we devalue the currency or anything. That would really hype people up and get people upset, rightfully
Mm-hmm,
so. So what
mm-hmm,
we're gonna do is we're just gonna take away 2% of the value of the purchasing power of your currency, but we're not gonna call it devaluing because then that would scare you. We're gonna
mm-hmm,
just call it a tax. You're so used to us to just throwing different taxes at you. You'll just be overwhelmed. You just be like, whatever. It's just another me and Molly tax, whatever. But effectively, what they're doing, Marcia, is devaluing the currency because two
mm-hmm.
Barbados dollars are not getting you one US when it
Ah.
should. You're having to pay $2 plus 2%. So they've devalued your Barbados dollars. Whenever you go to spend your Barbados dollars in any kind of foreign transaction, whether that be USD, pounds, euros, etc., they're gonna take out your bank is gonna take out an extra 2% because that's what the government have mandated that they do. So your Barbados dollars have been devalued by 2%, but it's something
Mm-hmm.
that people don't really think about or understand.
Mm. Wow, wow. You know, I've never really thought of it that way.
Hmm.
I really, I mean,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
devaluing the currency. Yeah.
very interesting, very interesting. Um, you know that it's another tax and it's another tax, but to sit down and to really think about it that way.
Hmm.
Thank you. I didn't. Anybody out there thought of it? Yes, but somebody said it's 2.5%.
Yes, and it's devaluation of the currency because
Yeah,
your two
yeah.
Barbados dollars are supposed to give you one US, but now you're having to pay to exactly what that would be about five. If it's 2.5, that's $2.05. So you would have to so every two Barbados dollars is being devalued 5 cents. So every
Hmm.
Barbados dollar is being devalued 2.5 cents. And when
Yeah.
you really work that out over time, that's a lot. She's charging 2.5% of every single foreign purchase made by any Beijing banking institution, Marcia. Think about
Mm.
how millions of dollars are spent today just in purchasing things on Amazon or buying a subscription to Netflix. All of these
Yeah.
all of these things are just simple foreign transactions that you don't really think about. You just swipe your card or put in your card and it happens. But every single time, I know you see it on your bank statement, the 2% fee comes out, the 2% fee comes out. And you're just thinking, oh, it's just 2%. But at the end of the day, after she's already got your income tax, she's already got your VAT, she's already got your solid waste tax, she's already got all these different taxes. Now she's getting an additional 2.5% on all the foreign purchases as well. So it's
Mm.
just tax after tax after tax.
And and the reason people are trying to buy the things overseas is because they're trying to get them cheaper because of the high prices in the country. So basically, you everywhere you turn, you can't get a break.
No,
Because you're trying to stretch the money because you can't buy this stuff. You can't buy the things in Barbados. You're trying to buy them overseas, and here it is, 2.5%. They find a way to just squeeze the small person, squeeze the Barbadians, squeeze poor people. Somebody here who is doing their Airbnb said I had 6 people booked for Airbnb for December in August. when the people investigating travel elsewhere in the Caribbean, those 6 people canceled the Barbados trip because of the overtaxes. And you hear this a lot from people, from visitors. They feel that it's too much. And I mean, wow. Wow, Don. I mean, the way you just put it there have me. I mean, no,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, it's
mhm.
you really have to understand what they're doing. It's not right to talk.
Okay. Well, Don, it seemed like you were correct from it's 2%. Adrian is
Mm.
saying that it's 2%,
Yeah, I
not
believe it's 2%.
2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a business sector that paid it 2.5%. Can somebody just check it out for us for real? So we can, so we know it's between 2 or 2.5%. Okay. Now
Mm-hmm.
look at our economic case here. Our borrowing moved from $427 million a year, done, to
Mm-hmm.
now 1.6 billion a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean that's quite a drastic increase. And I mean, there's no need. Like, what is the need for it? Are we seeing all of this increase in economic activity just for the people at the top, just for the friends of the BLP? So, I mean, the average citizen is not seeing any of this increase in money. There's so much money flowing around the economy that might be the case. The central bank says so. But is the average person seeing it? No.
Hmm. I mean, because they are talk. I mean, this central bank report. When you hear it, and people who like people outside of Barbados, they love to tell me that boy, you guys are doing great in Barbados. It's so annoying to hear Jamaicans tell me that, or people from Trinidad, or even the other day when I was in Saint Vincent. They think that we just have it really great in here because of what is being said or what they read about Barbados.
Mm.
You know, um, but look at even our debt service, which we were talking about that, where we exploded from 484 million a year, done, to 2.2 billion dollars a year. And this was something that was put together. Let me give credit to Professor Howard and Dr. Bell and Anthony Wood. These are all economists, and what they're saying is that our debt service exploded from 484 million to 2.2 billion dollars per year, which makes sense because of how much we're borrowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our debt to GDP ratio definitely gonna be climbing over time. And yeah, we still would be junk rated. When you look at the Barbados government as somebody to loan money to, and you see these ratios that are right here in front of us, Marcia, would you lend money? If
That's
the
it.
government asks you for $1,000, would you lend it? Knowing that they owe these 7.3 billion to other people? Not necessarily. Because
Yeah.
Barbados is not going to be really seen as that an attractive place to be lending money to. Like, are we confident that we can pay back this money? There's so many other loans that we're paying, just loans up on top of loans on top of loans. And that's why our credit rating has always been so bad. The
Yeah.
Barbados government, along with Russia and Ukraine, was one of the only governments in history to default on the bonds. Back when Mia defaulted on the bonds when she got into power in 2018, there were so many people that lost lots of money, that people had invested their money in the 3-month notes that government had, and it took years to get back that money. Imagine if you put in your life savings, Marcia, with the government guaranteeing that you can get it back in just 3 months time. And you
Mm-hmm.
put in your life savings. You've been doing this every 3 months your whole life, because it's government bonds. Those are supposed to be ironclad. Those are supposed to be a risk-free investment. That's what you're taught in economics, that government
Right.
bonds are risk-free investments. And that's a strategy that lots of people do. Lots of churches do it. Lots of people, they put their money in the 3-month notes, and then they get back the money every 3 months. And what Mia did when she came into power, she defaulted on all of those. And it took months to years to get back the money that you thought was just gone for 3 months that you loaned to the government. backed by the Barbados economy. So these are all things that has contributed to our junk bond status. And as the years go on, Marcia, if they win this election in a couple months, the international organizations going on into the next few years, they are going to start to question, well, is this administration for real? Are they really going to just keep asking us for these exorbitant amounts of money time after time after time again? Is there no end to this borrowing? And that's going to be the time when we really need to fear the most.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm looking here and seeing that the interest rates on foreign bonds is 8.25%. And in
Mhm.
fact, I am seeing here, this is on the IMF website, that the 8.25%, we had took a US 500 million bond, right? And that at that high interest rate was used partly to pay back cheaper debt. You
Mhm.
understand? This is what you call a debt trap. As this
Yes.
is basically what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That if a client, if somebody came to you with this kind of a financial situation, you would think that they are in deep trouble,
Deep
right?
trouble. Yes. Mhm.
You understand? And 8.25%. This is the interest rate on foreign bonds. You know,
Mhm.
and as I said, the borrowing alone this year was 2 billion, right?
Mhm.
1.9 something. And this are major. This is a debt trap, people. And I think that I'm really hoping that we're not talking over people's heads. The debt to GDP ratio for Barbados is the worst in the Caribbean. Do we realize that? It is the worst in the Caribbean, Don.
Yeah.
Or is it at 103% or 104%? You have countries like I'm trying to remember, like Antigua and those countries, they're at 68%. Jamaica is in the, way there, 60 something percent thereabout. I could always bring up those again. I don't keep them all in my head. But Barbados has the worst debt to GDP ratio, but yet still we have a
Yeah.
country
Barbados is 137%, Marcia.
130. I said three
Yeah,
hundred and
so
thirty
it's
seven.
a lot higher, yes. The regional average is around 77%, and we are 137%. So we're
Wow.
almost double the regional average.
Double. If somebody asks you, because I'm trying not to speak above people's head, can you break that down for them, Don? Saying that our debt to GDP reaches 130, what you say, 135?
137%. So
100.
essentially what debt to GDP ratio is your total debt over your GDP. So what GDP is gross domestic product. So essentially what is the value of all Beijing goods and services created in a calendar year. So when you think about your total debt, which is over the past couple of years, we've been saying it's around 7 to 8 billion. They're saying that total debt, 7 to 8 billion over the last couple of years, that is 37% higher than what Barbados as a country has actually produced.
Mm-hmm.
So Barbados as a country has produced less than that 7 to 8 billion over the last couple of years. So when you look at countries like Jamaica, where the debt to GDP ratio is closer to that 77%, it means that their total debt, even though it might be higher than Barbados's total debt, obviously they have 10 times our population, but their total debt, they could actually pay off their total debt with the amount of money that they make per year, if you understand what I mean. Because there,
Mm-hmm.
if your debt to GDP ratio is less than one, it means that in less than a year, you could pay back the whole debt. If you were to spend every single cent, which you obviously can't, but if you were to spend every single cent that Jamaica produced that year, you could pay off the whole debt. But it means that we don't even keep up with the rate of production, with the amount of debt. We're borrowing more than we're producing. So at any company, that's
Basically,
not making a sense, Marcia. That's like
yeah.
saying you were getting money from the bank, you were getting mortgages to rent out apartments, but you are charging less rent than your mortgage. That don't make any sense. You could be losing money every single month. So that's essentially how the
Exactly.
Barbados government is. We're borrowing money, but we're not making money with that money.
Yeah. Wow, that is serious. So let's bring it home. I like to bring it to a person. You have a client. You're an accountant, and a client is in front of you, and give us their story in and explaining. They're at 137. Their debt to GDP then to their production amount is 137%. Break it down for us using numbers that we can relate to.
So essentially, we could do a bar and restaurant. Let's say the client wanted to be a bar and restaurant. This government got into power in 2018. So let's say this client went to the bank for a loan in 2018 to get the money. This client told the bank, okay, well, I'm a brand new business. You could really give me a great interest rate, and I will pay a higher interest rate over the next couple of years. But just give me a good interest rate to start with, just so I could show people I'm making money and do some good marketing, and everything goes sweet. So yeah, you get in 2018, you get the loan, and then time has passed. Fast forward to 2025. You got through the first couple of years of the low interest, but now the interest is extremely high. So let's say you're paying the interest payment on the loan now, you're paying about $5,000 a month. But most months, your restaurant and bar aren't even making $5,000. So Barbados, the debt to GDP ratio is 137%. So that means that your loan payment is 37% higher than the actual money your bar is making every month. So for every $100 your bar makes, you're paying out $137 in loan payment. So you're gonna be losing money. You're in a losing money formula, and there's really no way to get out of that other than drastically increasing the output of Barbados or your business in this metaphor, or drastically reducing debt. And with the rate that we're taking on more and more debt, it doesn't seem like we're trying to reduce that anytime soon. So unless I don't know where we would get it from, we need to have some miracle of a vast increase in production in Barbados. Like come from striking oil, striking some gold in St. Thomas somewhere, like doing something. We need some kind of
Mm,
miracle, Marcia, for us to get out of this debt trap. Because it doesn't
wow.
look like we can get out of it.
This country is like it's changing, really.
Hmm.
Really changing. And I just want to let people know that a lot of this information was compiled, or we gathered information from Mr. Wood, Anthony Wood, which I've asked him permission. And we have found information that was put out in the public by Dr. Howard and other economists in Barbados. Okay, so that the credit wasn't put on the actual PowerPoint, but I just want to let you know where we gathered this information from. Dave, can we go to the next slide? Oh my goodness, we've gone past the time. Let's see how many we
Yeah.
can do, a couple more, but it's quite interesting, really. Dave, anything else? This is talking okay, but that 8.2% bond. Remember I was talking about, right?
Hmm.
Where we bought a US 500 million bond at eight. These are foreign bonds, right?
Hmm.
At $500 million at 8.25% interest rate, and we're using it partly to pay cheaper debt, right? To repay cheaper debt, right?
Hmm.
And we spoke about it being a major debt trap indicator. It just compounds the issues. Dave, let's go to the next one. People, you can take thing. Beggars abroad, borrowers at home. Government blames, shocks, but real issues, right? The poor planning, mismanagement, low transparency, compulsory borrowing, and this is um, some of what we've been saying, Don. It's really what you're talking about, the bloated. I don't know why all this, consultants, and it's really mismanagement of the funds, really, not too much transparency, and it seems it will look to us that it's compulsive borrowing. These are some of the reasons. You want to add any other reasons, Don?
Yeah, I mean, this government since 2018 till now have just said as their mantra, well, look how bad the other side was, look how corrupt, look how everything, look how much they mismanaged, look how bad the economy was. But now that we're in a way worse situation than we were back then, Marcia. They could say that for the first couple of years and people agreed with it, but they can't keep saying so now. They have now borrowed more money than any DLP government ever has. They have collected more taxes than any DLP government ever has. But can they say that this is the best economy and Bajans are thriving the most? They certainly can. So at the end of the day, this old tired mantra that they've used from 2018 till now, well, oh, look how bad the other side was, they really can't say that anymore because they've really just turned into the other side, so to speak. They cannot tout themselves as the better party. They cannot. It's just it wouldn't be fair for them to say that Barbados has not seen a drastic increase in economic activity for the majority of our citizens, and with this increased level of taxation and borrowing, they really needed to more to show for it. They don't have much to show. Like, what is their legacy if they were to lose government in a couple months? What have they done from 2018 to now that you'd be like, oh my God, that was really incredible? That is something that we really should give them huge props for. There's not that much that stands out, Marcia.
No, I sat today and I was trying to be honest about it. And the most I could think of, they did fix some roads just before World Cup. Um, I can't see anything. The hotel, I can't get the hotels going up. It's their policy, but I can't say that that had to do with the $7 to $8 billion, because
Mm-hmm.
as far as I know, majority of that is it's private developers who are spending the money. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. I mean, I can't. Others out there might be okay, but somebody said they gave us garbage cans. I mean, every household has a garbage can. You're right, Lemuel. They gave us garbage cans. That's true. But then they gave us the large garbage cans, I guess, so that they will fill up. And we don't see the trucks. Well, I know I can, let me speak truthfully from where I live. Sometimes 4 to 5 days, sometimes a week, once a week, we're seeing the garbage truck where we're from, where we live. Dave can tell me, isn't it once a week they come? Once a week that they come to where we live. Do you understand that? When in Trinidad, in some places they're coming twice a day, morning and evening. Where I saw with my two eyes in Trinidad once a day, where I stayed. But there are communities where they, and if they don't come Trinidad, carry on. You understand? So we've gotten, so I don't know what have they done. Anybody out there? Don, you ask a good question. What's the legacy? If they were to come out of power, what would you say would be their legacy? What is that thing that they did? Somebody said they put on the sewage tax, but that's something that they're putting on us and we're paying. But what we're talking about, something that, so, oh, their legacy is a sewage tax. Somebody said we have the most expensive garbage cans. No, let's be honest. What can we say? What can we say? Can we say probably the geriatric hospital that they're building in, is that will where's that?
That's on the Bell stretch of the highway.
Probably that.
That's a couple million as well.
Yeah, that would be a couple millions. They did
Mhm.
refurbish the Kensington. Mm.
2 billion. So this is this year or this is last year? This is
Um.
1 year, one
Oh,
specific.
Warren list in 1 year. In 1 year.
Hmm.
That this is where you get the almost 2 billion that was
Right.
borrowed this year. So everybody,
Hmm.
you can take a screenshot of this. This is was compiled by economists in Barbados. Compiled this list, okay? And all we did, we just took it and we put it. And so Dr. Howard and the others, Anthony Wood, take that, take your bow here, take your flowers for this. Um, so this is some these are all the different agencies and places that we have borrowed. Remember, we had some money from the Saudis just the other day. Remember that when the climate fund kind of closed off from us now, because Trump drew a line through that, and we're no longer getting any money from this climate fund. But now they went to the Saudis. They got 185.4 million from the IMF, 116 million. China, 390 million. Um, International bonds, remember I was telling you, right? We borrowed at 8.25%. That is very, very high. And this is $1,000 million. That is what, a billion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah. 60 million from World Bank, 150 million from CAF, right?
Hmm.
And 390 from, and so that is how we got to almost $2 billion that was borrowed in this year alone. Let that sink in, folks. Just this year. And we're not finished yet, because remember, they said today there's another 400 and something that they wanted from China, which is not listed here. Okay, so this list was created about 2 months ago, based on my recollection, because we showed it on the show sometime before. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. The next one, Dave, let's go quickly before Don, we gone over.
Yeah, no worry. We can wrap it
Yeah,
up
we're
shortly.
wrapping up. Lack of visible. So we talked about this, lack of visible transformation that we can't see.
Hmm.
Nearly 2 billion in 1 year. That's just 1 year, guys. Remember, there were seven, and in the 7 year, it's almost 8 billion. Infrastructure, healthcare, roads, yeah, right. We've said this already, that we're not seeing any transformation. If somebody is seeing transformation in these areas, I would say, please let us know, because we don't want to be biased.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. um 7 years of compulsive borrowing, 8 billion borrowed, the basic social systems collapsing, no fiscal strategy. It seems like it's just addiction, right? I added that part. Like, it's just addiction. We just borrowing. And this, I will never forget this picture here. Look at this picture. This lady, I mean, gone to Saudi Arabia to borrow from them. This is crazy. This has to be compulsive. The next one, Dave, I see Mr. Adrian there, getting ready to come on to relieve you, Don.
Hmm. No worries. But yeah, you need to keep borrowing from Peter to PayPal. You can only go to the IMF so many times. You can only go to China so many times. You can only go to CAF so many times. So if they now get $150 million from CAF last year, they can't go back this year, so they go to Saudi. They can't go back to Saudi next year, so they might go to, I don't know, Lithuania. They can't go Lithuania next year, they go somewhere else. So it always just gonna be borrowing from Peter to PayPal all the time, and this vicious cycle.
Yeah. And I see Adrian has joined us, and I think our core argument tonight, Dave, if we go back to that particular slide, as I get Adrian to jump in here. Barbados doesn't have economic transformation. We can't see it. We don't feel it. The average person, Adrian lives in Boston. He's in the diaspora, but we're here, Don, and we can't feel this economic transformation. I don't know. Probably some of the merchants are. It appears to us, looking on the average citizen, that we have a borrowing addiction. We are just borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, as though, I don't know. I mean, there's no end. But yeah. Any final words there, Don? Because I know that I have
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
No
I would just
longer.
say in closing, The government has a huge spending problem, and that fuels our borrowing. They're spending money on the lavish lifestyles of their ministers, of their consultants, and it's really creating generational wealth for those people and their families and their friends. But the rest of Barbados and future generations, like mine going forward, are really going to suffer because of it. So it's something that we really need to talk more about. We need more forums like this to highlight that dialogue. And we just need everybody in Barbados to remember this come election time. We really need a different result from the past two elections. We can't have another 30 love. I'm not saying which side should win or lose, but we need opposition in this country for sure, so that we have lots of people in parliament holding everybody accountable. So that's why I could end off with.
Yes, 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 yes. Most definitely. Don, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We were having so much fun. I didn't even realize that the time was gone.
Yeah,
And you
time
taught
God,
me a
don't
lot of,
worry.
you taught me some things tonight. That thing,
Mhm.
with the 2%, never saw it that
Yeah,
way. And I
currency
appreciate you for,
devaluation. Really sit down and
yeah,
think about that one. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, that's what that
All right,
is. That's
guys. Pleasure
God
to be
bless
here,
you.
and
Yes.
best of luck with the rest of the show. Okay, see you
Yes,
guys
thank
later.
you.
Bye bye.
God bless. Bye bye. Bye bye. Yes, Mr. Adrian Hines. Good night, sir. Good night. I thought that you know, I know why you weren't here early, but I said, oh boy, he's not gonna make it. But it was so good as well to just sit, and listen to this young man, a young
Oh,
man.
great. Yeah. Good night, Marcia. Good night to the loyal opposition. Yeah, sorry to be late. Went to Boston, and getting out of Boston was problematic. So I'm here now. But yeah, definitely listening to Don break down the economics as we see it at the micro level made a lot of sense to us because it's clear. We're hearing all these big numbers, and all this borrowing that's going on, and the people are not seeing it, they're not feeling it. And I think one of the arguments that is being made is that there's a lot of debt um, servicing that's going on with this money, right? So they're borrowing a lot of money, and they're have to meet a lot of debt payments out. So I think just as much as they borrow, they're paying out in debt services, or even more. So yeah, and they're not telling the people that, and so people are wondering, what are you doing with all this money? You know, so there's an argument there that the government is not flushing out, and it begs the question why? Because I think one of the arguments that they tried to make earlier on was that, yeah, we're paying debt, but it's legacy debt, which is a reference to debt that they come and found. But I'm not hearing them say that these days, and I would think that if that were true, that would be an argument that they would put out. But I'm not hearing that. So it's still a valid question as to what are you really doing with all this money? And if it is actually going in debt servicing, why is that? They need to break it down.
And it also begs a question: what about our production? Why is our production so low? You understand what I'm saying in terms of the
Mhm.
debt to GDP ratio? We are still not producing at the right level, even with all of that money. But again, as you said, if it's servicing old debt, I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised at the level of which we are producing, you know, locally. So that's something as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's not a lot of stimulation in the economy locally, then productivity is going to suffer. People tend to, some of the ways I hear people talk about productivity in Barbados, it is as to reference the level of output of individual Barbadians, and it gets into this argument or thinking of people being lazy and stuff like that. But no, productivity, as far as I know, with regards to that type of economics, has to do with sales, whether it's retail, manufacturing, and all that, what they're doing to um, bring in money. And I
Hmm.
don't know that there's a lot of money in the economy locally to spur the economy, on all its cylinders, productivity and all that stuff. And that's what you're seeing. And Barbadians notice because they're living it every day and they're not seeing it. So it seems like a lot of the debt is external debt, right? And that's where the disconnect is. They're not telling us about it. We don't know because it's not local debt. Local debt apparently seems to be going down, and that's what they big up. When they talk about debt is going down, they're talking about the local component of it, but they're not telling you about the external debt, right? Which is going up and up and up, and somebody's got to pay that, and they have to have foreign exchange to pay that, and all it takes is some shock to our tourism and our other foreign exchange earning sectors, and we're going to be right back where, or even worse than what was experienced during the housing crisis from 2008 to 2018.
Yes.
So there's a lot they're not telling us because I don't believe that they can tell us. Because people will, I think Barbados will come to the point of saying, all of that bluster and talk that you put out about the last government, being, responsible for the bad economy or the alleged bad economy, would suggest that they're not doing anything different. They can't do anything different, because as Professor Howard says, it's a debt cycle, and once you get into it to the level that we're in, it's hard to get out. It's very, very hard to get out. And I could say that because, as I said, I always use conditions at the micro level to understand economics at the micro level to understand economics at the macro level, at a personal level. If you carry too much credit card debt, you're not getting out of it. Not in the tradition. You would have to go a year or two of spending no more than 5% of your income, with 95% going towards your debt in order to make a dent in it. And most people are not prepared to do that. And that's individuals. Can it be done? Yeah, it can be done. But most individuals are not prepared to do that on an individual level in microeconomics. Now think about a country, right? There's no way that a government could survive only spending 5% of their inflows and using 95% of it to service debt so that they can get out of it or get ahead of it quickly. Can't happen. People are not going to understand that, tolerate it, nothing of the sort. So when as I said, when Michael Howard talks about, Professor Howard talks about the debt, we're in this cycle, of bringing in debt and paying, and that's exactly what it is. $8.4 billion in debt, and there's a figure out there of $9 billion in debt servicing for the same period. That is a cycle, right? You borrow, that's debt, and you're paying servicing debt about the same or even more. So it's like you're not doing anything really, right?
Wow.
Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, and especially when you because I love when it's broken down, which is Don was doing some of that this evening, where the average citizen, the viewer, can understand what it actually means, because at the end of the day, this is our country, and we can't go about and not our daily lives without understanding what's happening to the country. So even though we know what we feel when we go to the supermarket, right? We know when we go to put the petrol in the car, we know that what it feels. But when we think of when you now begin to think of the country in this light, where you're basically, it's like you have all these credit cards and you're using one credit card to pay the next credit card. You would have to decide that you're going to go without sell some things, and which is why they're probably selling off Barbados like this. You're going to have to sell the China. You have to sell the China. You have to sell the important things that you love in order to survive. Huh?
Yeah. So that's part of it. I mean, in order for them to get beyond or get a true handle on the debt that the country is carrying, it will call for some serious measures that Barbadians are not going to go for, and it would put them in a worse light than what they would have accused the front of the Stuart government of in terms of austerity, right? They would have to do that. So what you're seeing is part of austerity. The place look top down. You can feel it. You can feel that nothing is happening in Barbados, and that's by design. They don't have the money. They don't have the room. As much as they would want you to believe that they do not have the room to demonstrate economic progression in terms of stimulating the economy with capital projects and really getting ahead with I know they spend a lot of money on road projects, but it's being done poorly. And you can tell that it's done from a political perspective, not really from a proper road servicing perspective, because the roads are being destroyed within a matter of months. They're not being done properly. So that's all political, because they're not spending the correct amount of money. I saw some of the roads that were destroyed by the flooding and stuff. And if you look at the thickness of the asphalt, right, and the fact that in some of the roads there were water courses that the road went over, and they made no way for that water to cross or to go under, nothing. So the water just seeped under the asphalt, got into the mud, and just broke everything apart. Cheaply done, because to put that culvert in that the water will go under the road costs more money, right? So everything is being done cheaply, and it's done, for pure cosmetics. Look, we've just done this road. The road isn't done properly, so people are going to complain about it in short order. And I think that's by design, because they don't have a lot of money to spend, but they understand that their political lives are tied to demonstrating certain things. It's true up here, as it is in Barbados, that a government is responsible for certain things. Garbage pickup, public transportation, proper roads, lighted roads. If you can't do those things, people tend to notice.
Healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare. People tend to notice these things, right? People do it differently up here in my city, in my town. Yeah, if the mayor and the council these things are broken and not being worked, they'll get kicked to the curb, just like that, automatic. In Barbados, people tend to complain, but don't do anything more beyond that. But to some extent, the similarity is there. People notice these things, and they understand this at its core is what a government is responsible for. It's to me, it's plain that, I believe Professor Howard is very clear. Just looking at those two numbers, where was it? I saw 8.443 billion was borrowed, and they repaid 9.362 billion for the same period, right? So what does that tell you?
Is more.
Yeah. What does that tell you?
Crazy, right? And that is crazy.
Yeah. Since 2018. What does that tell you?
We're in trouble.
I think Professor Hart has been saying that. Nobody's listening to him, but I do. I definitely, when I say nobody, I mean government.
Yeah, because we did show,
right.
I don't know in person, but we did use some of his material to create these slides this evening. But that is, I wonder if people are actually listening, because sometimes when you begin to break things down like this, a lot of people, they're not into it. It's too deep for them, but we really need to find a way to make it as clear as possible to people. Yes, I know, somebody said, well, some people will know how to vote, but also for you to know what's happening to your country. You know what I mean, Adrian? To understand, because basically what is going to happen, it is simple. It's not doom and gloom. It's just reality. Education they will have to privatize education. This is what happened in Jamaica. I am telling you all.
And that's the thing, and they're doing I don't know what the answer is for them. People in a democracy can be very unforgiving, right? And that's probably the issue that they're facing with this unwillingness to be truthful and transparent with the Barbadian people, right? And Barbadians can be righteous in their indignation at them for the simple reason that they made such a big stink about how the last government was running the economy, right? They gave everybody the impression they had all the answers. I mean, the globe was going through a global. There was a global financial crisis caused by the housing bubble in the USA, and Mia Motley and her sycophants made their arguments as if they had the answers not only for Barbados but for the entire world. They had the answers. They didn't know exactly what to do, right? And you can't fault Barbadians. Hey, things are not good. They weren't, as far as I'm concerned, things weren't this bad back in 2008 to 2018. Things weren't that bad. I went home several times and I didn't get that vibe during that time that I'm getting now. I could see it in people's face. I could see it in the environment. I could see it, right? And they made this argument that they can do better. Things weren't good. The government didn't have a lot of money, right? And Frondell said that. He said, he used the term kind of sexist, but he used the term that the government nipples are sore, something like that, right? Everybody wants to suck on them. That something along those lines, I think, was attributed to him. But it was true, and it didn't have a lot of wiggle room. But his focus was in keeping people employed, keeping government workers employed as much as he possibly could, right?
Yes.
And not bringing significant austerity measures to Barbadians. And that required dipping into whatever funds he could find, INS, wherever he could find it. A lot of local borrowing went on, right, rather than external. And that's what Mayor Motley used to gin up, as Major did in Animal Farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
She used her speaking ability to bring people to this thing that, hey, he's doing this and it was not good, and people didn't like it. They didn't fully understand what was going on or appreciate what was going on. As much as Frondell tried to tell them, hey, look, this is happening from the outside. I can only do so much from the inside. They didn't buy it. So in comes this person now that, giving the impression that they could do all of this stuff. They could reverse all this stuff. And they can't. They can't. So now they're stuck now with this lie and how to confront it. Because if they do anything that is similar to what they accuse the last government of, right, that's a no-no. It is hard to survive that type of hypocrisy, right, in an election. And I think that's why we're getting a lot of this stuff, like that letter that goes out telling people how much education costs, but there's no signing to it. It is to how I see that letter in the sense of my showing my younger kids who, when they were younger, would just leave lights on, would just leave the fan on, and everything just burning electricity like crazy, right? And I would show them the bill. When the bill came in, I was like, you see how high this bill is? This bill is this high because you guys keep leaving the lights on, you keep leaving the fan on, right? So I'm trying to sensitize them to the expense, right? Hoping that they would help reduce it. However, in this case, in my case, obviously, for them just to turn off the light, not to pay, but to turn off the light. But when you're doing it at the level that these people are doing with this letter going to parents, right? They are trying to emotionally, get into people's minds, and where people would say, what, the government needs some help.
Yes.
Maybe if I can put a little $25 here or $35 here towards my kid education, that might help, because that's a lot of money that the government put in to educate my child. That's what they're doing. Right?
So psychologically, we're moving towards privatization is what is happening.
Absolutely.
This is crazy stuff they're doing to our people.
Absolutely.
Here, Adrian.
Absolutely. but you see, they have to do these things, right? Because paying for education is paying for education. They made a big stink about the government, the last government telling UE students, hey, look, you got to shoulder some of the costs here, right? And now they have to do the same thing because nothing's really changed, right? Nothing's really changed. The country isn't earning foreign exchange, and the country needs foreign exchange in order to build and to grow, right? And so they're caught between a rock and a hard place of having to do the same things or similar things as the last government that they're accused of and pillory the last government for, but they are stymied because they don't want to look like hypocrites. So that's why they're coming up with all of these exoteric things, causing people to like, what is this all about? But it's very simple to understand why they're doing it. It's very, very, very simple.
I
Don't
love
let
the
them
way
fool you.
you
It
said
is for
that.
no other reason. Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
way you put it because I've been trying to. I know what it is supposed to do, but I've been
Yeah.
trying to put it in words, and you did it when you said that you show them so they can help you. Basically, is what this is. I always knew it's leading to privatization
Yeah.
because once you see how much it is, and then they said, you see how much it is, and then they said, you know what, we're gonna need some help from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's basically, and to think that they could hoodwink Barbadians like this, it's just disgusting. As somebody said, it's psychological warfare.
Yeah.
They are unloading on us. This is
Hey, I looked at it and I call it a GoFundMe letter. That's what it is.
yeah.
It is yeah, it is a
Yeah,
plea. All right,
it
it
is
is
a
a plea.
plea.
To play
And
on your
yeah.
mind. Get you emotionally all into it. So that when they come, right, you are sensitized that hey, look, yeah, I need to burden, and they're not done yet. They're not done.
No,
This
they're
same
not.
government. This
Wow.
this same government broached the subject about people paying for health care, right? They did. They sent one of their. She's about to retire now, but she made the statement about those that can pay for health services should be made to do so,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And it's just, and I'll be honest with you, to some extent, I don't have a problem with these events. Having to fund some level of education, some level of healthcare. I don't have a problem with it, right? But it is the approach that these
And
people
not just the approach. Let
use.
me hasten to say, because you don't live here. Okay, so this is where let us educate you a little bit, Adrian. Um, we have seen an increase in the taxes that we are paying. You see, so
Mm.
when you I understand that, and because when I came here, I was saying, why, Lord, I mean Jamaica, we don't pay for. I mean, we have to pay for all of this. But then after living here, right, I realized that
Mhm.
taxes. We pay the most taxes, way more than Jamaica, way more than Trinidad, way more than other Caribbean islands. And that is what is unfair about it. It's
Yeah.
unjust. So
Yeah.
you can't be taxing us, burden us down with all. I just counted how many taxes a while ago that we are paying, and then we are the no other government has taxed the people of Barbados like this ever before in the history. And you're going to tell me that that government is coming to take our social services from us, Adrian? Something is not adding up there. It's not adding up, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You know, we are seeing the levels of taxation. We're being taxed on every single thing, every turn.
Hmm.
And I can't see
Yeah.
Americans taking this. This could never happen in America. I can't see it. You know.
Oh. Oh no. That's what people. I I know there are a lot of people. There are people in Barbados who don't like America. They don't like America foreign policy, but the way they say it is they don't like America, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I live in the Great Satan. I always say that, but I love living in the Great Satan because the things I see happen here and the way people at the local level approach things is very no nonsense. They do not play. In my town, they do not play. They don't care who you are. They don't have any reverence to any political figure. If you're doing this concept of do your job is very, very, very important for politicians at the local level. You don't do your job, they kick you to the curb. And that's the way it ought to be. You know, like, okay, prices are constantly going up in the supermarkets in my neck of the woods. They're constantly going up. So what are people doing? People are deliberately cutting back. They're deliberately cutting back. You know, it's like, no, we're not going to encourage this type of behavior. Or they're changing where they usually go to shop. And you know, and these are the things that Barbadians have to get to. Sometimes you have to take charge rather than reaching out and just complaining. Yeah, complain, don't stop. But you ought to reach out and do things for yourself. You know, leave the things in the supermarket, leave the things that Abed's and whatever other store, because you need to send a message. It's a matter of principle. You guys are price gouging us. You know, cut your profitability. Everybody's hurting. Why do you still need 15-20% profit? You know, and as a result, because the cost of your products have gone up through taxes, import taxes, whatever levies the government has, whatever, and you're just passing it on to us. I'm like, no, all of us are living in this society. All of us are in this together. So you need to reduce the level of profitability that you're looking for from this product, and I will buy it. You know, I will buy it because you're paying your part. I'm playing my part. But if you're not doing that, if you still want to maintain your profitability, right, and up in the price because you're passing whatever on to me, I'm gonna leave it on the shelves. I'll leave it in the supermarket, you know, and do without. So I seem to be on by myself. I don't see. Oh.
Yes, you are. There is a lady that wanted to speak to us, and I was trying to reach her. I think I wanted to give her the last couple minutes of the show. I think she's there. Let me call her so it comes through. So just anything else that I know Dave is getting ready. I don't know if Dave has the report card, and you can hear from the people what they're going to put up. Dave, can we put up the report card whenever you're ready?
I think I saw it earlier.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. So I'm going to leave you with that, sir.
Yep.
And let me attend to this lady, okay?
Okay. Oh my goodness, that's another fail. Repayments of over $7 billion in loans. Yeah, I have to agree with this. Let me see what folks are saying. Somebody says the people who are selling the most Christmas things don't celebrate Christmas. Makes sense from that, folks. You know, Keith is telling me that lots of change, high cost of living in 100 years, unimaginable suffering of people of Barbados, very oppressive laws against the people of Barbados, highest water bills. I mean, it should be unmistakable at this point to this government and its leader that people are not going to tolerate these things. It should be unmistakable. There should be any guessing or second guessing as to whether there's going to be a penalty to suffer at the polls next time around. It should be. You know, this is you. This is what's happening to you. They lied to you. Things are bad in Barbados. Things, and they made the promise that they could correct these things, and they lied to you, and they continue to lie to you. You know, by one pointing back 10 years ago, blaming, you know, external stuff, but never themselves. Yeah. And they should be held to account. They should be held to account for lying and giving the impression.
Adrian, can you hear? Just hang on, just a minute, sir. Stick a pin there. Let me see if you can hear the caller. We're really trying with our very limited equipment here. Good night, caller.
Good night.
Yes, good night. Can you hear her, Adrian?
Yes, I can.
You're hearing her. Yes, caller. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Good night and welcome to.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So, you and I had a conversation, and I thought that it was important for you to, just speak to the full loyal opposition, which we say consists of all of Barbados, and people are on right now from overseas, and they're on from different parishes in Barbados, listening live. Now, if I should just give the people a little bit of your story, this lady who's on, she's a storm victim of the freak storm that happened in Barbados. How long ago was that, ma'am?
In 2021.
In 2021. So you had some destruction happen at your home, and you didn't have a home, right, after the freak storm.
No, I didn't.
You didn't. And you were therefore one of those that the government had promised you a home.
Yes, please.
Yes, tell us about that.
Since November 2021,
Mm-hmm.
I was moved out to get some repairs, to get my house repairs. They put me in different places and they are not paying the rent. Every time I had to move, it was the government not paying the rent.
Mm. So
At one point,
let's set it up. So you have an injury. So you have a disability.
yes, please.
So you have a disability. You lost your home in the freak storm, and
Yeah.
you were then told by the, because it was announced that the government was going to help, citizens that were had been suffered some kind of, their home suffered any kind of damage, that they were going to help those citizens, and you were one of those. You were promised that you became homeless, and they put you in a home, but then you were moving from place to place because the government refused to pay the rent to the landlords.
Yeah. Yes, please.
How many times did you have to move?
Um, I moved to Tiffany's, Hall, St. Philip in an abandoned house. And I had to complain about the abandoned house. And nobody paid any attention because it was a friend of their house. This house was so bad that when I keep complaining, nobody pays me any attention. I call in the health inspector. And when the health inspector come in and see the condition that you were living under, the health inspector called people in Paramount or right there, whichever they did, but they let them know that this place is not fit for human to live in. And then they're moving from there in Caribou to another place in Parishland. Even before they carried to Parishland, they had it in a place in Drex Hall. And the woman turned off the light. She turned off the phone first. She start with the phone, then she do the internet. And one day now you went and come back home. The next thing the light was off. And when you call the people and let them know it was near Christmas too, that there is no light. They tell, okay, you will have to do, if you have any lamp or anything, so till tomorrow they'll have to find some way to put you.
Wow.
I said, no, I have nothing. So then they say, okay, they will have to speak to the woman and get back to us. So the next year, we had some negotiation with the lady, and she put back on the light, and she said she wants the place that she will give you a chance till after the holidays. Then after the holidays, she wants the place because she's not getting her rent. So there is where then they carry her to this abandoned place in St. Philip. And this place was so bad. I have the pictures.
Describe the place to us. That so those of you who have just joined, this is a victim, a storm victim from 2021, lost her home. She is also has some disability, and was told by the government that they were going to replace the home. And what is normally done, because I've had to deal with some of these cases before, they find a home for the person while the house is being repaired. And but what this our sister on the line is alleging, or is that the government did not pay the rent for these places that they put that they put her and her family, and they had to turn the lights, the landlord turn off the lights, etc. And then they brought them to an abandoned house in St. Philip. Tell us about this abandoned house.
It was upstairs and downstairs. It had no wardrobes in the bedroom. It just had a bed. It had no place to hang up your clothes on. You had to be living out of boxes. Then certain parts of the house was like getting wrecked. Certain parts was rotten that the lady tell you, oh, be careful how the children is running about before the blocks, pieces of the building and thing drop down on them. So it was, and then they had a pool like in the yard that was like anything for the last 20 years. They had in mosquitoes, they had in frogs. It was in a terrible position. And when it called the people in Parliament and asked them how them expect to put human up here, the PS guy said, oh, this place is a very nice place. We wouldn't do that. He trusts his workers. I said, you would not put your dog in here. I sure if you see this place, you wouldn't put your dog in here. Oh, he trusts his workers. His workers just do a very good job. I said, them thing and put the dog in here, Nida. And there is where they pay me no mind. So I get up in the morning and after I can't take this anymore, I call in the health inspector from the place. And the health inspector said that they would come the next day, and they come the next day, and I showed up all round inside the place. They said that they would write people empowerment. So I don't know what happened. Then I get a phone call from people empowerment. Well, I complaining, and they have to look for somewhere to put me. That's what they're saying.
Right, and then so they moved you.
Yeah, and then they moved me to this place now in Parish Land. In Parish Land, when you went there, things was okay, the house was okay, whatever. But then the lady, about 8 months after we was there, the lady was complaining, saying she hasn't got any rent and that she rent for somebody else that was in the house, and the person moved out and she ain't getting no rent. And he said, so them is who's supposed to pay you, not me. So she said, asked me if I have any of the numbers. I said, I have a number for the minister that somebody gave me and said this is the minister number. But no time I call it, I'm getting no answer. So I said, we would have to try it because no time I call it, nobody answers me. When you heard the shout, no, she said, give me it. Because we was praying good and hey. And I gave her the number and she went and she come back and she tell me that is his number for two. That is the minister free number. And he answer her, and he tell her, give him a chance, she would find out why she isn't getting she money.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that's how I know for sure that that was his number.
Okay.
Never answered the time I
He
called.
wasn't answering. So let me ask you
Right.
something. What is, because the last house that you were put in, that too, with that house as well, the government wasn't paying the rent for it. And what they
No.
did, they actually, because it's late and I will have to have you on another time, so I'm kind of summarizing so that people can know what really happened. They put you out of that. You went to the beach to do some physical
Yeah.
therapy, on
Yeah. I do therapy on Saturdays.
on Saturdays. You went to the beach to do physical therapy. When you got back, your house, the house you're living in, was boarded up. All the windows and the
Yes,
doors
please.
with your all of your belongings inside there, and your
Yes,
equipment,
please.
your medication. And so, bottom line, because what we're going to do, Mr. Bob, I see you holding your head. What we're going to have to do is to let this lady come back on Friday, and we are going to continue to talk. We're not going to stop at this until your case is looked after, ma'am. I'm telling you. I promise you that.
Thank you.
Listen,
Thank you.
they are going to give some answers. We are calling on, what's the name of the minister that wasn't answering your call? What's the name of that minister?
Mr. Humphrey.
Mr. Kirk Humphrey. Mr. Kirk
Yes,
Humphrey.
please.
Those of you, I know they watch the program. We're going to begin to call all the names of the people. She's going to call every name of everybody at that ministry that she has dealt with on this program. That's what we're going to do, because we want to ask you questions. We want to ask you some questions, and we're going to call your name. Okay? Please contact, you know who the lady is, contact her. Her things, she has not had access. She has not had full access to equipment that she needs to do her therapy. There's medication that she needs. She still cannot get to her, her grandchildren's school clothes. Okay, the principal had to buy school clothes to this child because the child's clothes is caught up in this whole thing with the government not paying the rent. And they can't say the woman is telling lies about this rent, because I called another landlady 2 days ago to check, because she would go sometimes, Mr. Bob, a whole year before the government pays her rent for welfare recipients that live at the homes. Almost lost her house, water cut off, electricity cut off, because she's not getting any rent money from the government. So I know they're a culprit for this. They do this all the time. So we're just starting tonight because we've gone over the time, and I did promise you. But what we're going to
Yeah.
do with this, I wanted to do it at later in the show because you have more people watching. So we're going to, instead, what we're going to do, we're going to start the show with this so that we can have you speak as long as you need to speak, and we can get some way on this. Let me ask you, what's the position with the house that you lived in? What's the position with the repairs?
They start the repairs, and then they start to repair the house and the finish, and they start giving me some excuse about they're not allowed to build on the land, which the land is a tenantry. It's a tenantry land. It got 140 houses, and I was here over 40 years. And the court did order that the lady have to sell the house, the land to me, but it have to go in the high court. For the lady that want to claim the land, she doesn't have no papers, and she put it in the lower court, and the lower court said it's a tenant. She have to sell me the land. So all looking like no, they are using some excuse about the lady says she don't want me on the land, and that is no. I have no proof to that. I know it has to go before the court, and this is over 10 years or more, and she can't put it in the court because she has no papers. no title deed, nothing to put it in the court with. But here now or lately, they start giving people permission to the Tenantry Act thing. So when I asked about they're soon going to get to me. They're working on it, and I am going to get the papers, but they are working on it, and I will soon get mine. Was the yesterday I heard that.
So let me ask you something. What's the area? Where were you originally living when the storm hit your house? Where was
Briar
this?
Hall, Christchurch.
Briar Hall.
Christchurch.
Who is your MP?
Right.
Who is your MP?
I doesn't have an MP.
What do you mean? It has to have an MP.
When they moved me in Drexel, when I first was in Drexel, I went to the thing that they have at Silver Sands, the picnic thing they had at Silver Sands. And I see the MP call all along. I was trying to get to him, you know, and when I never see him, and when I get to the Silver Sands thing, there is where I see him. And I called on him, and he told me, "You are not for my constituency anymore. You belong to St. George." I said, "No." I said, "I moved, but I said my disability check they still go to Briar Hall. So no." He said, "Yes, you are not on my constituency anymore." When I called the Monday now at the place and find out how come, and the lady asked me for my name and number and whatever. And she said, "No, I am still for Briar Hall." So whenever I see him what was the last Saturday at the thing that had him.
What's his name?
Adrian Ford, Mr. Ford.
Mr. Adrian Ford, you are listening? Are you listening? Adrian Ford, calling MP Adrian Ford. There is a lady who's living in has lived in inhumane conditions. All of her belongings. She needs the children's school clothes. She needs all of her medication. Adrian Ford. Okay, these are the people you all go and beg votes from, and give when election time they'll give them a plate of food, and give them party and fetes. You're gonna take care of this woman. We are gonna make your life a living hell on the show. I am telling you that now with a straight face. What's the other one's name? Is Adrian Ford, and the one at Kirk Humphrey. So we just start. It just started. It just started, madam. They are going to give you your stuff, and they're going to find somewhere for you to live, proper place for you to live. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I know that right now because they had made you were homeless with just a towel around you, and right now you're at the Golden Sands, but that you're there temporary. You need your home to live in, right?
They moved me from there, from Golden Sands. Send me to this place in Blackrock. This place in Blackrock wasn't fit for human living in either, because they have the stove not working, the stove blow up suddenly when you try to cook. You don't have nothing in there that you can use, a rusty plate, a bread plate.
Wait, so that's where you're living right now?
No, they moved me from there, and then when they moved me from there, after I called in the health inspector from there too, they're sending me. They wanted to send me to the homeless.
Oh, to Kimar Safri, to the homeless shelter.
The Kimar Safi. When the person came, when the taxi came for me there, I usually ask them where they're taking me. We were told to take you to Kimar Safri's. I said, I am closeless. I am not homeless. I would like some of my clothes. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. I said, I will like some clothes. I had no clothes all that time. I had no clothes. I still in a room with a towel. a towel and a sheet, and I has no clothes. And I'm asking and I said, I am not going to keep my service. I said, I am not homeless. I am clothesless right now. So the lady went down. Then they come back another time. They call the police, and they want me to move from there. I call in the health inspector for the man place, and that wasn't good enough. I said, if one would have given me some of my clothes, some of my things, I have proper things that they have somewhere down by the bin factory in a container. My goods, all my food stuff, the trade, my some of my stuff. Cause when I asked the lady, Carla, where is my meat and food stuff I had in the fridge, she asked me, she told me the dump. I said, how you meet the dump?
Well, tell you what, you hold a pin there because I want to make sure that people are on here the next. It's not this late because we're gone over almost 30 minutes just to make sure we can have you on. But we will start on Friday. We're gonna start with you, okay? Ma'am, I
Okay,
just
thank
I
you.
just want to say that I want to just say that this is what has happened to you. It's not something you deserve. You have an injury, and you there was a storm, and your house was was destroyed because of the storm, and
Yes, true.
so we are really very sorry for what you have had to endure. It's inhumane, and we are going to continue to speak about this until somebody deals with your matter. Okay. Thank you so much for
Okay, thank
calling,
you.
and I'm going to stay in touch with you. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. I see you holding your head. And I know we're tired, but I've been promising her she called
This
me
is
again
this is not
today.
about this is not about fatigue.
Yeah, I'm not tired.
This is
It's about
painful.
frustration and anger and at the level of selfishness, condescension, and it's. I mean, I've always known that Barbadians, whether intentional or not, tends to demonstrate some serious deference to each other. You know, um, and government sets that example that so many people follow. You know, out in the village and in the communities, people borrowing money and don't want to pay it back. The government does that. I mean, I have a collection of situations, all from the government or government departments, owing people money and won't pay. Just wouldn't pay. And I just don't understand that. You know, I just don't understand that. Why is this issue? And it's not a case of not having any money at all. They just don't do it. They just don't pay. I don't know why. I don't even think they know why. And these situations, these are the types of things. This is the core of let me no, this is the extreme of the type of angst I see on people's faces in Barbados when I visit. Right? This is like the magnification of what, because you don't know a person's story, but something. I can tell from their face, something is there. I see a lot of my friends. All these guys do is drink day in and day out. And I know one guy said to me, "And nothing else to do? What else is there to do?" That sense of hopelessness.
Mm.
It's just sad. It's just sad.
It's sad.
Just
It's
sad.
sad. And I know somebody says here to do your due diligence before supporting causes. And I generally do that. But, I listened to this woman, Barbadian woman, and what I did, and the case, it sounded very familiar, Evolving. I do understand what Evolving is saying as I normally visit them myself. and which I'm going to end up doing that. I'm going to make some calls tomorrow. I did start to make some calls because I know for sure, Mr. Bob, that a lot of these landlords who have welfare recipients at their homes, sometimes they go over a year without getting a cent for the government.
Mm.
Evolving, I know that's a fact. My friend is a Christian woman and she would not put the people out, but she has been an entire year without getting a cent. They turned off her water, almost lost her mortgage. Everybody had to be helping that lady because she now was going to become homeless. They're trying to work with the government. She, the owner of the house, was going to lose her house and become homeless with her daughter and grandchild through the government. So some of this, I don't need to research some of this, but I do understand what you're saying, evolving. Okay. But I believe this lady. I believe there's some truth. She sent me pictures. I didn't put the pictures up because for dignity, as evolving, I have pictures and I have videos, and some of it I didn't put it up. I will see if she wants to. I know she sent them to me for me to prove to me some things. I
Mm.
didn't put it up because Adrian, I grew up in poverty, Mr. Bob, and some things. That's one thing I've learned from Caswell Franklin. He would say to me, Marcia, don't take a camera to these people's homes when you're trying to help them. Don't. And so I will go, you'll see me turn the camera on myself. He says to me, don't show their condition like that. Because when they come out of it, they still have to live in a small country. So
Yes.
evolving, I did try to do some of my homework. I do have some videos and I do have some pictures, but in my good conscience, and anybody who knows me, I'm not going to put it out there. But I will say I believe most of what this lady is telling me, because like Adrian is saying, I have seen how they treat, how we treat, oh no, how we treat each other.
Each other. Yep. Yep. We can be very, very, very cruel to each other. It's sad. Yeah. Sad.
Yeah, it's uncaring. It's uncaring. And when she's calling, he's not answering his phone. That is a very typical thing that they do. I do know that Mr. Humphrey does try to help people. I know that. So I'm going to have to be balanced because I've had to send people to him, right? But there are cases. I've had several cases. One of them right now went viral, and that's why that started on our show, and they're now fixing the man's house. So I'm saying they could have done it all the time before the shame was on them. So we will call out Adrian Ford, and we're calling out Mr. Humphrey as well, and they need to look in this case by the next time she comes on Friday, Mr. Bob and Mr. Hines. I'm sure you'll be on, or hopefully you'll be on. We get her name, we put the information out there. They've got to go find her and help her. She's a Barbadian.
But
We
the
are
mere
sent.
but the
Go
mere
ahead.
fact that they're moving her from place to place, they are fully aware of what is happening. They are fully aware. And these two ministers' names who were called should be embarrassed, because I don't care what the situation is. This is a lady, this is a Barbadian woman. And if you have a mother, a sister, a grandmother,
Yeah.
an aunt, this should concern you from 2021. They got to be making sport, and then you are trying to divorce yourself from the situation by saying she's not in your constituency, and you sit in cabinet.
Sad.
That should be something to
Sad.
bring to the attention of the prime minister. Not try to divorce yourself from it. She ain't a stranger, and we all should be concerned, because that underscores what we're talking about with this government. They have lost what it takes to be. They lost the human touch, and the plight of people don't concern them any longer. And even if she is sitting in a situation where the house and the land was in dispute, it was time enough and long enough that they could have moved her. The house in concrete. I'm afraid. I'm afraid that there's some other cases like this now, because some people, it took very long for some persons in Basketball St. Peter to get any repairs done to their houses, and they were here, there, and everywhere. But this is a case I've heard longer. Yes, they did. I know.
They hide behind that. That is a rule where if you can't get you can't even get a certificate to refurbish your home if you can't demonstrate that you own the land. And again, I do understand the rationale for this type of approach, right? They're trying to regularize property and property lines and all that good stuff, and they have to have some rules around it. But I fear that there's this possibility within the various departments of government that manage these things that they don't want to do the repairs in the first place. So they're finding an excuse. And I think that they're hiding behind this rule. I think government should also have a department knowing that this is what they intend to do to regularize property, boundary demarcations, etc., to understand that there's a lot of confusion out there in the communities where property lines end, who owns what, and with regards to the Tenantries Freehold Act, that people have to, based on rules, the owners have to sell, that there should be a department that helps people through that process, not tell them go back and use the law and have them fight it on their own, or leave them at the mercy of some lawyer who's going to charge them a ridiculous amount of money, which people don't have. The whole idea of the Freeholds Tenantry Act is to make it cheaper for people to own the land. But if you're going to add a component to that, to gaining ownership of that land, of going to a lawyer who's going to charge you exorbitant fees, then what is the point? So they should have some kind of, I don't know, public legal counsel available to ensure that people can get and take advantage of the Freehold Tenantries Act.
Well, this is what I'm saying, and this is what I don't want Barbadians to automatically assume the lady's not telling the truth. That it's another part of how we behave. And it's too late to go into that now, but it saddens me.
We should assume that she is telling the truth, and
that we must assume.
I don't understand why that's the first thing that many of us rush to. She may not be telling the truth, and that tells you that there is a mental something's going on where you don't want to believe it, and therefore you're coming up with a supposition to assuage that not wanting to believe it. But you shouldn't do that. It's just like in healthcare, I assume in Barbados as well, where if a patient at the hospital tells you that they have pain, right, it is not for you to determine whether they're telling the truth or not. You have to accept that they are feeling pain and treat it. That's what you have to do. And the same thing in this case. We shouldn't assume that someone is coming out there trying to mamagai the Barbadian public or to tell lies from government. Why is that of so much of importance? The truth will come out eventually. You can't lie about something like this and get away with it, right? So why do we, without knowing for a fact, that what is being said is not true or is true or is not true, that we would rather go with she might be telling lies? I mean, come on, people. Why are we like this? I don't understand.
Yeah, we've got to. I don't like. To me, I've seen it with the way we treat each other. And she just needs some relief. And somebody told her to call, and we're not going to let go of this until somebody is gonna do something. As somebody said, we gave away land to Afrexim Bank. You see, this. Don't get me started at this hour of the night.
Yeah.
You understand, Adrian? And this lady is going from pillar to post, boxing from here to there and there. I mean, it's not right. And we're gonna close. It's too much details. You're right, Judith. It's too much details, and because I've dealt with situations like this before, that is very rare. I mean, I'm not saying Yeah, go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah. When you go to help her, I don't know why someone would reach for the possibility that she's telling lies. I mean, you call for help, you go, right? You're going to determine whether she's telling the truth or not,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah,
why is it so important to make that assumption? I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
yeah.
It's this, but it's all part of what we experience. This is all part of how we treat to each other, and not to give a pass on the government. You know, the government, those 29 or whatever people in parliament. A lot of what we are seeing are the people whose responsibility it is to provide the services. But then again, it still comes back to those 28 people that forms the government, because a lot of them have put their constituents, or they put their party supporters into these departments. And as a result of that, they give him poor service to Barbadians. So it probably comes back full circle to them as well. But too often, government departments have too many people in its employment that are very rude, very disrespectful, very uncaring. You know, you're not in that position to be on vacation. You didn't get a job to relax and take a paycheck. You're there to provide a service. And I find that, and part of that should be that if the current processes that you're using aren't working, you need to report it up the ladder so that things can be changed, so that Barbadians can get the service that they deserve.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, guys, we're going to close, because if we, I could see
Yeah.
folks are thinking of your own mothers, your auntie, and those, no, we're gonna, God, by God's grace, she's gonna get help, as the other gentleman who came on. He called me and let me know they're now fixing his home. So, folks, thank you all so much for joining tonight, and really, this was a good one tonight. Animal Farm. Then we went right into breaking down the debt, and looking at it, with Don, and then Adrian came up in the rear there. Mr. Bob was on with the Animal Farm, and here we are looking at a real life situation, and we'll continue this on Friday. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. Adrian, I know how it is, just got in from work and you're here. Thank you, Mr. Bob. Mr.
Hey,
Bob
good night, everybody. Thank you. You're welcome.
and was on. Thank you all on behalf of Barbados. Thank you so much.
Good night,
God bless
everybody.
All right.
Rest
Good night, everybody. All right.
They're on to minute 11.
Yes. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Show her your face, fill up the space. Barbados needs you right now. Barbados needs you right now. She can't escape being afraid. Fill up with you right now. Barbados needs you right now. Show her your face, fill up the space. Barbados needs you right now. Barbados needs you right now. She can't escape being afraid. Fill her with you right now. Barbados needs you right now. How I fall down, bring with it a sound that points her to you right now. Erase substitutes right now. Fix what we see, and God please fix Barbados. Barbados needs you right now. Let us see you right now. Barbados needs you right now. Barbados needs you right now. Every heart in the world, God needs you to rescue. Storms have come and torn our hearts in two. Barbados needs you. Show your face, fill up the space. Barbados needs you right now. Barbados Barbados needs you right now. Storms may come, but when she calls your name, all things change. Kingdoms fall, one thing forever reigns is your name. The anchor that holds her in the pain stays the same. Oh, how sweet to know that your great name will never change. The anchor that holds her in pain stays the same. Oh, how sweet to know that your great name will never change. That's why we're not ashamed to say, Jesus, oh, nobody like you, Jesus. Power is in the name Jesus. Yes, she needs you, say. That's where the power is. You have all of the authority. Only you are the great I am. You're the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Kingdoms falling, forever reigns is your name. Oh, how sweet to know that your great name will never change. It stays the same. Show her your face. Come fill this space. Barbados needs you right now. Barbados needs you right now.